This is a tornado warning from KAKE First Alert.
And meteorologist Jay Prater back in here. Tornado warning for Dickinson County. This is for the eastern edge, and that is a pretty tight little circulation just to the north of Harrington, which is going to cross US 77 and then move over toward Latimer and get out of KAKEland at that point. But that's enough of a signature where we want people to get down to their shelters anywhere north of Harrington, south of Woodbine here in Dickinson County. That's a pretty tight little circulation. It's not what we showed you with Bryce Kintai earlier. What Bryce had was not nearly that strong. This is actually getting stronger here. So this is more indicative of a more significant tornado that is in progress crossing US 77 in the vicinity of K4 here in Dickinson County. And that's going to very quickly move out of Dickinson County and off towards the east and get into Morris County. So we're going to continue this for a little bit. Let me go over the correlation coefficient. Remember, this is kind of a debris detection product. And right there, okay, that's pretty good confirmation that we're kicking up a little debris too, where you see that darkening. So this is crossing US 77. This is approaching Latimer. So if you're anywhere around Latimer and K4, you need to be heading down to the shelter as we speak. Now, this is pretty much kind of the dividing line. Once it starts getting out of Dickinson County at that point, we start kind of getting out of the Wichita coverage area and we start picking it up over into Topeka. So we're not going to cover this for a very long period of time, but this is a more significant circulation. Let me go back over to the velocity mode of the radar, and there you go. It's already in the process of crossing 77. There's Latimer and K4. And this is a very significant circulation. This is more of a true tornado instead of what I was showing you with Bryce Kintai earlier around Tampa. Those are more what we call kind of land spout spin-ups. And these are along the leading edge of the front. As the cold front comes through and pops up new thunderstorms, there's enough shear on the leading edge here where these tornadoes could develop that don't last for a very long period of time. But honestly, this is probably one of the stronger signatures we have seen all night. So this is one where you need to take it seriously and take some shelter because that is definitely kicking up some debris. Now, while I'm joining you now live, let's go back over to meteorologist Bryce Kintai. Bryce, that dust devil that you were showing us earlier, I'm assuming that one's dissipated. What have you got now?
Yeah, Jay, that one has dissipated, and now we're back sitting very close to US 77. Let me give you an exact location. Very near Lost Springs, looking back off to the north towards Harrington, where you've been showing. I'll tell you, I can't see anything visual. It looks just like a really black cloud at this point. There's really no visibility off to my north here, but the storm has really taken off in the last couple minutes and really strengthened as it's moved towards eastern Dickinson County.
All right, so Bryce is right here near in the vicinity of Lost Springs, and earlier he was looking back along the leading edge of this line of storms and seeing what was probably northwest of Hillsboro, another one of those, we call them land spouts, which is kind of a weaker tornado. That circulation is gone as it approached the Marion Reservoir. And I got to admit, Bryce, I'm not really seeing anything in terms of circulation along that line now until we get back down to the southwest of Hillsboro. There might be a little rotation there, but that's pretty far from your position, correct?
Yeah, that's right, Jay. I'm also seeing that there's a report of a tornado near Andover, so you might want to take a peek at that as well yeah, there's a tornado. I'm getting pictures of people from Andover taking pictures of tornadoes in Andover as well.
Okay, all right, we just got down the velocity there. I do see that little area there. They've just issued the tornado warning. That's why it's blinking in red. So tell you what, let's go ahead and take it full screen here. And so the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for Cedric and Butler County. That is until 9 o'clock Central Time. And yeah, that just spun up very quickly here. So now we're going to move that out of the way so we can get a little closer look. This area of circulation is basically, there's Rose Hill, and that's Kellogg and Andover Road. And so that tornado would be just to the south of US 400. This would be to the north of Rose Hill, and it's going to be crossing 400, basically to the east of Andover, between Andover and Augusta at this point. So the National Weather Service is going ahead and issuing that tornado warning for that circulation that's based right in here. They're a pretty quick little spin up. Let's see if I can get over to the Wichita radar. Make sure that we're looking at the closest data here from that. So now we zoomed into the Wichita radar. Let me go back over to the storm velocity mode and let that catch up. And there we go. There's that area of circulation. It came right there's where it started kind of spin up. So just to the south of Kellogg and Andover Road, that's the area of circulation that has already crossed Butler Road to the south of Kellogg between Rose Hill and 400, and that's going to take that circulation very close to, I'm not worried about, Andover Road itself north of Kellogg, but that's going to be pretty close to the vicinity of the Dillons south of Kellogg there, or in Cloud Road. So the Dillons and also the Kansas Land Tire Center. And then once that crosses, even potentially probably Atwoods or over to the east of Atwoods, so Andover Crossing Apartments, this would be time to get down to shelter because, we're still seeing some pretty good circulation with that thunderstorm. Let me kind of recenter it for you at this point. So, this is where we continue to watch right there, and that's the intersection of Andover Road and Butler Road, just to the south by about a mile. Let's see if we can get another tornado report on that for you. That continues to track towards the northeast. So a tornado warning in effect for not the city of Wichita, but basically Andover at this point. And we also have the tornado warning in effect for Wichita. So a spotter was reporting it. It's about 4 miles north of Rose Hill, and it was continuing to the north. And for you, Bryce, the Weather Service is going ahead and issuing a new tornado warning for Harvey and Marion County based on the tornado 6 miles south of Hillsboro. So basically, you're going to be dealing with, let's go ahead and just keep the radar up full screen, please. So let's go ahead and just, so radar full screen. So, and Bryce is no longer in Canton. So Bryce, there is a new tornado warning for you at this point. So I don't know if you're able to see anything from your location.
No, Jay, I'm going to go ahead and drop on south here and try to keep up with this line as it's moving towards Marion, Butler counties. So I'm on the move south.
You're on the move south, and then we'll try to pick up meteorologist Cameron Venable on this. But just got a report. So the Butler County Emergency Operations Center continue to track the tornado. Right now, it's approaching Kellogg and about to cross Kellogg, kind of over in the vicinity of the Dillons at this point as we continue to watch it. And even got some social media stuff coming in here. So I will show you that as that continued, as that pretty small tornado at that point. But getting pictures of the funnel sent in to me from social media of the tornado as it is moving. Again, very close to 400 at that point, as that's going to continue to track away. I'm meteorologist Jay Prater. We're live for several tornado warnings now across Kansas. We're continuing to keep an eye on the one that Bryce had earlier back in parts of Dickinson County and Marion County. So from his vantage point, he's starting to kind of see more of the tornado's already disappointed, but as far as what's impacting Andover right now, there's that area of circulation. Really kind of recenter that. We'll slide on down to the south here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter. We're looking at the velocity data, and pretty soon we're probably going to get a radar sweep. So here is Andover proper, Sunset Acres. So there's that area of circulation now. This would be near the Atwoods, crossing north of 400 over in the vicinity of Andover Crossing. So this is not too far, basically to the south and southeast of Andover Central High School, Andover Central Middle School, and also Andover Park. And that will continue tracking northeast. And eventually, it's probably going to cross the Kansas Turnpike at some point here. So let's go ahead and kind of back the view out a little bit and reset the scene for you. Again, the tornado impact is already out of Butler County at this, out of Cedric County, and is all inside Butler County at this point. So I know the tornado warning does go all the way back over to Towndy Small, but that tornado has already pushed on across 400, now is in the eastern edge of Andover, and will be moving across the eastern outskirts of Andover, basically north of Augusta, and eventually over towards Towanda and El Dorado at this point, as that continues moving off towards the northeast. This tornado warning is in effect for parts of Butler County and Cedric County, and it's been issued until 9 o'clock. And I have gotten several pictures confirming the tornado via social media. Looked like a pretty well-formed cone tornado at that point. And there you go. There's that area of circulation. Let me kind of zoom in a little tighter so we can kind of show you exactly where that circulation is tracking. Now, I'm going to stop that, and let's go in even a little bit tighter at this point. So there we're still seeing it. There's Cloud Avenue. There's North Andover Road. And right there, That's where the middle school and the high school are located. So this is going to be very close to Andover Central High School, Andover Central Middle School, and then over towards Meadowlark Road and the new Yorktown Parkway that has been put in over there. And as that storm continues moving northeast, then it's going to get the other side of Indianola Road, and we'll continue tracking that across Butler County. Now, this is Andover Road here. The Golden Spike Trailer Park is on the east side of Andover Road, so this tornado threat has already moved east there. It's north of Douglas at this point, north of Kellogg, and continues in the vicinity of kind of Andover Park. That's where we have the new police department headquarters. It's also where the library is in Andover Park as that thunderstorm continues tracking to the northeast. Let me kind of back the view out, kind of give you the bigger picture. That's not the most impressive circulation in the world, but did get video confirmation of that cone tornado as that continues to move across eastern Andover now that it's north of 400. And as far as damage reports at this point, we're still waiting to see if we can get some new damage reports right now. So yeah, definitely got several pictures coming in of that tornado. Let me go over to the correlation coefficient. Don't really have a real strong debris indication on radar, but this is a pretty noisy product. We are getting some information from the Butler County Emergency Operations Center. And let's see, at 8:18, so that was about 5 minutes ago, that was a narrow tornado still on the ground just near the Cedric Butler County line. Now that was per the fire department, possibly strengthening. Preliminary reports of a little bit of weak damage possible in far eastern Sedgwick County. That's coming into Sedgwick County Emergency Management. And spotters are still reporting a tornado on the ground on the east side of Andover, now increasing in. We're seeing more of that circulation tightening up now. So we're continuing to track this for you. Again, this is a tornado warning for Andover. Honestly, the velocity data is getting stronger here. So let me zoom in a little bit tighter. We'll show you exactly what's going on with that part of the storm system. So we're going to zoom in here. Right there. And this look like it's starting to head towards the turnpike at this point. So there it is. See the area of circulation. I'm going to zoom in even time. I'm going to stop this in motion so I can get some kind of hyperlocation on these streets for you. So there is East Central Avenue. There's Meadowlark, and this is 13th and Prairie Creek. So this is now crossed Central in the vicinity of Andover Central High School and Andover Central Middle School, and is going to be crossing 13th between Prairie Creek Road and Meadowlark Road, and this is a stronger indication of circulation. This is getting stronger, so we think the tornado is probably increasing in size at this point. Now, Andover Road itself, this tornado threat is already past you to the east at this point. Teradyne Country Club, this is well off to the east of Teradyne. There's 13th in Andover, so you've got Andover Old High School sits right up in here, so the circulation is east of Andover High School. This probably rolled very close to, if not over, Andover Central Middle, Andover Central High, and also the mobile home park located just to the west of those locations. And this will continue tracking towards the intersection of 13th and Meadowlark Road. And as we continue on with that, I'm going to kind of go back here. We did get some gusts earlier in Hutch that were exceeding 50 miles per hour on the back side of the storm. So all along this line of storms, even though the cold front is caught up with the dry line, the leading edge, we have enough shear, we have enough spin where we're starting to produce, most of these are smaller tornadoes, but you know what? This one's really starting to take off. Look at this one that's really wrapping up. Okay, I'm going to get back to Andover in just a second, but this one's moving out of Dickinson County. You know what, now that's getting to Morris County, that's out of KAKEland, but south of White City, that looks like a significant tornado developing there. Let's pan on down to the south. Developing tornado near Burdick. Developing tornado between Lincolnville and Antelope here along US 77. You see that little curl, that inflection point? Another tornado developing to the southwest of Marion. So southwest of Marion, this could track over to the city of Marion. We continue panning down that line of storms as it moves into Newton. We're going to watch the leading edge. The farther we can get that little blue line out ahead of the main line of storms, that's going to prevent some of the tornado threat in that area. And now we get back into the tornado warning for Andover. That circulation right there. Let me go back over to the velocity data at this point. I'm joined by meteorologist Frank Waugh. Frank, you hooked up?
Yeah, Jay, I'm on mic 5 here. Make sure you can hear me. On my drive in, on my drive in, I could actually see across North Wichita, I could actually see a funnel on the ground. Now, exactly where it was at, incredibly difficult to tell, but on my drive into the station, I could see that. So chances are pretty good visibility on this storm here as it is going into Butler County. Let me reset up over here, and if folks have photos of this or imagery of this, post that. Facebook, Twitter, send us those reports and get those to us because we can get those on the air. But I could actually see it from West Wichita on my drive in. Again, West Wichita right now, we're quiet, we're dry, but it's obviously all in Butler County at this point.
All right, thanks a lot, Frank. So let's go back into the tornado warning for basically Andover, and this is going to be moving through Andover and crossing the turnpike soon. I'm going to go back over to the storm relative map using the Wichita radar, and once we do, we're going to put that in motion for you over the past 30 minutes, and that tornado probably touching down eastern Cedric County, south of Kellogg here, north of Rose Hill, and then crossing into Andover, and that circulation right now looks like it's right on top of the turnpike. So this is crossing the Kansas Turnpike, and this may not be the only circulation we're dealing with, but there you go. Right there, this is crossing the Kansas Turnpike. Let me stop the motion of the radar, and I'm going to get in just a little bit tighter so we can get some of the road grid popping up here. There you go. There's Meadowlark Road, there's Indianola Road, and there's the Kansas Turnpike. So this is going to be crossing the turnpike between Tumbleweed Road and between Mulberry Road, and this will move north of the turnpike at this point. So it's starting to get out of Andover. There's the latest sweep of the radar, so let's kind of move that down as we do. Okay. There you go. There's that area of circulation now. Yes, Frank, you got something?
Jay, we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Deb. We're going to take Deb. Deb is on the phone, and Deb,
go ahead, Deb.
If you can hear us, tell us where you're at and what you're seeing.
Hey, Jay, I am in the Andover area right now, and I'm looking at this tornado. We've been watching it out here for about 20 minutes or so.
Okay, tell everybody where you're located. Tell everybody where you're located in the direction you're looking.
Okay, I am at 159th and 21st Street, and I am now looking northeast, and it's moved past this area, but it looks like it's a little ways in the distance, but I'm looking northeast at the tornado.
Okay,
and it came from the southwest.
And from our radar data here, it's already north of the Kansas Turnpike now. Can you verify that from your position?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
So we're now north of the Kansas Turnpike. That tornado is between Meadowlark Road and Tumbleweed Road, between Southwest 50th and Southwest 60th, and it continues to track on up towards the north. So, Deb, that agrees with what you're seeing, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it keeps like lifting a little and then dropping back down. We did see a debris field. Is that what you call it?
You did see some debris getting kicked up? Okay.
Yes, and we do hear lots of sirens right now.
Okay, so Deb.
So I assume it took a hit on something.
Okay, all right. Are you going to be able to investigate that further and maybe get back in touch with us?
Yes, I'm going to head that way. I do want to tell you, and I can't even remember what I was going to say. But yeah, it's been there on the ground for at least 20, 25 minutes. I know what I was going to tell you. If you go to my
Jay,
Facebook
we are starting
page,
to get
I
reports.
carried it live for a while.
We are starting to get reports of multiple structures potentially damaged with this storm. So,
do we have locations on that yet?
We're working on confirming these, but it does look like emergency management is saying that there are reports of structure damage along the path so far.
Okay, let's go ahead. Okay. All right, we just took a little light.
I'll keep eyes on it.
Okay, you're still on it.
It's moving out of view.
Okay, so it's moving out of view, so you're starting to see it. So here is the tornado now, and it's kind of doing a hook. Notice how it's turning more to the north. I know you can't see this, Deb, but it's turning more to the north. So this is going to be crossing K254 between Benton and Towanda. And I want to caution us that another circulation may be developing just north of Kellogg between Andover and Augusta. So this is the tornado. You'll notice, let's go back over the past 30 minutes. It's going to form here to the on the Sedgwick County side of the line, west of the line. It's going to form here between Rose Hill and Andover, come near the intersection of Andover Road and Butler Road, kind of over, where the Dillons is on Cloud Road. And so that's going to be near the YMCA, and then come up and hook probably close to the Atwoods, move near the vicinity of Andover Central High School and Andover Central Middle School in the mobile home park there, and then make that hook to the north. And it is still in progress, and this will be crossing K24 between Benton and Towanda. But just in case another new one spins up, this will be the next circulation now between Augusta and Andover, just to the north of US 400.
Jay, I'm starting to get
ahead,
pictures come in here. This is one from Michael Davis. Just posted this on my Facebook page, trying to confirm the exact location where this is at. But again, if you do have photos, and again, gives you an indication here looking at this, this is not something that you want to be messing with at this point. So if you are in Butler County, if you are in this tornado warning, you do need to be taking your precautions right now. You're hearing those sirens, your weather radio is going off. You do need to be in a safe place. But again, this is confirmation here. Michael Davis sending in this photo. And again, if you do have photos, videos, continue to post those on my page, and we'll continue to relay those on.
All right, thank you, Frank. Now let's go back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD. And basically that whole line of storms. Deb, you still with us? You got anything new there?
Yeah, I can tell you the power is out here.
Okay, all right.
So I'm trying to figure out how to get out of my garage so I can go.
Okay, Deb. So do you want us, Deb? Do you want us to stay with you, or do you want us to let you go and you get back in touch with us?
You can just stay here for now.
All right. Well, you're hot on air. Keep that in mind.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll keep you updated.
All right. So here's what's going on. This whole line, the cold front's coming through, and there's enough shear on that leading edge where Bryce Kintai was showing us early back in parts of Dickinson County and Marion County of these, very dramatic. You saw it live here on KAKE, landspouts in progress. So we are concerned about this entire line producing some more tornadoes. Let me go back over to the reflectivity mode of the radar. If we switch over to Wichita, we'll go over to reflectivity at this point. And anywhere you see kind of a leading edge hook or curl, I'm going to be concerned about the potential for tornadoes to develop. Now, the good news is you see that little thin blue line out ahead, that's the outflow. The farther the outflow gets out ahead of that main line of storms, the better off we're going to be in terms of not having a tornado produced along that line of storms. But we still have enough shear here with these storms that are well out ahead of the front that we're concerned about that tornado threat. Unfortunately, what has just happened is what we were fearing. Any individual storms that popped up on the east side of the dry line had the potential to take advantage of the atmosphere and cause rotation. So let's get back into the tornado warning storm that is right now in Butler County. Let's go back over to the storm relative velocity data here, and we'll put it in motion over the past 30 minutes and see if we can track a new circulation. Because right now, what was approaching 254 between Benton and Towanda, it's right there. This is dramatically weakened. So in terms of a tornado still in progress from what has moved near Andover, the confidence is low that that is still occurring at this time. So here we go over the past 30 minutes, and notice how the tornado, as it starts to jog to the north right there, basically it's weakening as it's crossing 254 between Benton and Towanda. So if it's still there, don't think it's much going on. But as you track it back over the past 30 minutes, matter of fact, I'm going to do that. Let me roll
Jay,
right out here. Go ahead, Frank.
When you get a chance there, why don't you also reset the radar? We've just got a new tornado warning for that storm that's in Greenwood County right now. Why don't you take a look at that? I've got several more photos coming in here from the storm in Butler County. Also getting reports from Butler County Emergency Management that tornado possibly has dissipated for the time based on spotter reports here. This is that photo we showed you from Michael Davis. A couple more of them coming in. Gay Carpenter sent this one. Got a couple more here for you. Lindsay Paul sent this photo coming in to my Facebook page, and another one here from Melissa Sorensen. So again, thank you for sending those in. Leanne Bush sent this. This was Pawnee and Greenwich. It's very, very beneficial if you can give us your location when you are sending these photos so we can get an idea of where this is at. But again, new tornado warning, that is going to be for Greenwood County, and that storm moving to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. That's going to go until 9:15.
Jay, are you still there?
Yeah, we're still here, Deb. What have you got?
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you were still there. I am just headed south on Andover Road to see what I could see, because that's about where it looked like it came right through the middle of Andover. But I can't tell yet. I'll let you know as soon as I get close. But I do not see any more tornado or funnel cloud or anything right now.
All right, we'll continue to check that out. Frank, could you give me, from the Weather Service, when they issued the tornado warning for Greenwood County, what was the location that they gave?
So that one there is located 8 miles southwest of Eureka.
8 miles southwest of Eureka.
And that is radar indicated at this point, but they based on that, on the rapid strengthening of that storm, that how quick we're seeing these things spin up, that definitely want to give Eureka a heads up.
Okay, so we'll continue to pan down here, and there we go. Let's get that situated over here. But you said 8 miles to the southwest of Eureka, so we'll continue to track that for you. Let me kind of pan down a little bit here. I don't know, up in the booth, I don't know what's going on with the hand tracking here, but it's getting a little wonky on me. So from Eureka, let's go back, you said 8 miles to the southwest. There's 10 miles there, and you can kind of make out where there might be a little bit of circulation at that point. So here we go over the past 30 minutes. We'll take a look at this and put this in motion for you. And as we do, I can see where basically they issued based on, okay, see that little shear right there? Don't know if it's still hanging together. This is not the best radar indication of circulation, but let's go ahead and take those tornado precautions at this point. It's not nearly as strong as the radar indications that we were getting with the tornado as that moved through Andover. So let's zoom in, and honestly, looks like a new tornado circulation is wrapping up. Frank, just to the north of Augusta. You see that right there?
Yeah.
That is starting to intensify, so we may have a new developing tornado on the northeast side of Augusta. That will be tracking over towards US 54 south of El Dorado. So if you're around El Dorado, you need to keep an eye on this part of the thunderstorm to see if it redevelops. What was the Andover tornado has now crossed 254, and that's what's left of it. Don't know if that's still, that's so weak. I doubt there's probably a tornado occurring at time, but that's the leftover circulation. If you track that back, you'll notice it came almost from New North to south there after it went through Andover, and then it originated probably here in extreme eastern Cedric County between Andover and Rose Hill, made that hook, and then came up through Andover, basically near the Dillons, and then as it crossed Kellogg, that would have been east of Andover Road at that point, probably near Andover Central, Middle Andover Central High School, the mobile home park located there, or Andover Park, and then continued probably east of the old Andover High as that crossed 13th over near the park. Deb, you still with us? What have you got?
Yeah, so I'm at 13th and Andover Road, and there are multiple emergency vehicles headed south on Andover Road. So I'm just going to not get in their way, but kind of follow and see where, because I assume they're headed toward the damage. So right. I'm going to follow them and see what I find. All right,
that's Deb Ferris. You just want to stay with us while we can see what's going on there. I'm trying to scrub through the data. Frank, you got anything new?
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at this storm as it is headed towards El Dorado here. As you kind of analyze it on your screen there, you are starting to see a more defined hook on it. You can come over here to camera 5 if you want. That we are starting to see a more defined hook, as this is going to be headed towards kind of the south side of El Dorado. So this is going to be crossing, really, we're probably looking at Haverhill Road here shortly as it moves to the north and east. So again, if you are in El Dorado, particularly if you are on the south side of El Dorado, I'd be going ahead and taking those tornado precautions. Or if you live south of El Dorado, kind of towards the airport as well, I would be taking those. And also, we're starting to see that over towards Eureka as well. I mean, these storms rapidly intensifying. Let me go back here and let me show you a couple more of these photos that have come in. That it shows you how quick these things are spinning up. That you're getting what appears to be a fairly significant tornado spun up in a very rapid amount of time. This one here, you can actually see that it is, lofting some dust and debris, though it is fairly slim there at the bottom. That one coming in from Lindsay Pulse. Again, if you have any reports of damage or photos or videos of that, I encourage you to post that on my Facebook page. There is a post there. That is the fastest way for us to get that information on the air. And if you can, include that location of where you're seeing it at. It's very helpful in relaying the information.
All right, thanks a lot. I'm going to go back to 8:15. Here is Kellogg. There's Andover Road, and that's Harriet. It looks like the tornado was crossing near the intersection of Andover Road and Harry Street at about 8:16. And then you'll notice how very quickly this makes a turn to the left and crosses near the Dillons near Cloud Avenue there, and then that continues on very quickly up to the north. So we got that circulation. Yes, Deb, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm getting reports that the Andover YMCA was hit, and that's where it seems all these vehicles are going.
Now, okay,
So
but you don't know the degree of damage, right?
What's that?
Have you heard anything about the degree of damage?
Yes, I am hearing from people in Andover that the YMCA took a direct hit and is destroyed. But I can't confirm it yet because I don't see it with my own eyes.
Okay, where
but
are you
can
at?
Probably hear the emergency vehicles.
Okay, and what's your location again, Deb? I'm sorry, Deb. What's your location again?
I'm at Central and Andover Road.
Okay, at Central and Andover Road. So she is right here. And are you able to continue on down to the south on Andover Road, or are you stuck on traffic?
Well, there is a lot of traffic right now, but we're moving. So
okay.
Hopefully I'll be able to get in that vicinity, and I will keep you guys clearly posted on what I see. As soon as I get there, Jay, I'm going to try to do a live, trying to figure out how I can talk to you live, like with pictures. I know we can do it by Facebook. I just can't remember how.
Okay. And also assuming, Frank, at some point, David Scott. So at some point, can you contact the newsroom and tell us where crews are, where they are in relation to what's going on? Let's go to David. David, you got a mic on? Okay, let's go over to David Scott.
We're in the process of sending crews out right now. We have our John Hayes heading down to southeast Sedgwick County, and our Eli Higgins will be heading to other damage that we are able to nail down. But we'll be getting those pictures hopefully in the near future.
All right. David, give us a little more there. I got to talk to the producer. If we are in
what has happened in Andover. We just heard from Deb a little while ago, but we're going to be in contact with emergency management in Sedgwick County as well as in Butler County to find out exactly where the damage is. We're hearing the YMCA in the Andover area, and we're also going to be heading down to southeast Sedgwick County to see what has happened down there. We're not hearing any other reports other than the YMCA that Deb was talking about of any actual damage happening, but we have teams that are heading to different locations as we get these reports and checking out just what exactly is happening out there, Jay.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's go back to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD, where we have tornado warnings in effect for parts of Marion County, also for Butler County and Greenwood County. I'm going to go back into the Greenwood County storm here. Earlier, we could see why they issued that warning, but it wasn't a really tight circulation. And right along 54 between Reese and Eureka. Let me go over to the velocity data, and we'll take a look at it from that point of view to see if we got a little more of a rotation here. So let's go to the storm relative map. And okay, you can kind of imply that there was a little hook. The good news, there's not a really tight circulation, but given the atmosphere, given the fact that we spun up a tornado very quickly, it's a good idea to go ahead and stay down in the shelters at this point, as that circulation, it's pretty weak, but that's going to track right along 54 near Eureka and then cross on the north side of 54 at that time. Now I'm going to slide back over into Butler County. Earlier, what produced the Andover tornado, that circulation has weakened, but now we got another suspect area we continue to watch here. This really kind of started to tighten up as it moved northeast of Augusta. Not really a classic tornado signature here, but notice this is crossing 54. Where 454 splits off, 400 continues westbound into Wichita, where it's 54 comes down here and meets it after it splits off from El Dorado. So right between El Dorado to the south, that's still the potential for another tornado to develop. So if you go from El Dorado, we're only talking about 6 miles south of town here, and it's moving northeast. So if you're around El Dorado, south side of El Dorado, over towards Prospect 54, as you head over to Eureka, you may want to go ahead and take those tornado precautions as that heads your way. Frank, have you got anything new? Okay, so let's just stay with this. I'm going to go back over and pan to what was the tornado we have confirmed that came through Andover earlier. Here we go over the past 30 minutes. That circulation now north of 254 and has dissipated. So that is now gone. You'll see that track right there, how quickly it went to the north, came back hooked to the northwest and dissipated. So we are done with that. Deb Ferris is in the process of getting some more information on the damage from that. We have some preliminary reports that we haven't confirmed at this time. Yes, Frank.
And Jay, I am also getting some reports from viewers taking phone calls from people who may have been at the Andover YMCA as well. Yeah, we're getting it from a couple different sources here, but I encourage folks, if they do have those reports, to pass them along to us. And we're in the process of getting some of that as we speak.
All right, thanks a lot. And I've kind of expanded the view here because this is the cold front and dry line that have merged together, and we're now getting a line of severe thunderstorms that's developed all along. So severe thunderstorm warnings basically all along the front. We could see wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. Chase and Marion County, that is until 9:15. Then we slide down to the south for Butler, Chase, Harvey, and Marion until 9:15. And then Wichita, this is another severe thunderstorm warning for Butler and Cedric County until 9:30. So once this rolls through, this is another line. We're not done with the thunderstorms here. Now, the only saving grace is I want to point out, see the thin line out ahead where you get to the heavy rain. That's what we call the outflow boundary. See near Elbing where it's starting to kind of catch up to the boundary? If that happens, we're going to watch very closely these locations because they could still take advantage of the shear and spin up tornadoes on the leading edge of that line of thunderstorm. But we can get that little thin blue line farther out. That keeps the outflow away from the parent thunderstorm far enough where it's really hard to spin up those leading edge tornadoes. The closer that is right to the leading edge, that's where you have more of a chance. Matter of fact, near Elbing, just to the southeast of Elbing, we're seeing enough there where, you know what, I would go ahead and take some tornado precautions. Could have a quick, brief spin up. I'm going to go over to the Wichita storm relative, and right in there is where we're looking. And yeah, right there, just to the north of Potwin, as far as the distance from Potwin, it's about 6 miles to the north, already past Elbing at that point. If that continues to tighten up, that could produce another leading edge tornado there. We still have the tornado warning in effect for Greenwood County and Eureka. I'm going to zoom into that. Now, admittedly, we never really saw a super tight circulation with this one like we did. It was very clear with the storm that developed between Andover and Rose Hill, hooked, and then came up through by the Dillons and the YMCA there, and then quickly moved on off to the north. There is, you can make out maybe a little rotation now to the north of 54 here, but there's not what we call really a hot stinger. But I would go ahead and stay down in your basements in and around Eureka until this thunderstorm continues to move away. And now I'm going to pan back over to the west, and we're going to take a look at that thunderstorm that spun up northeast of Augusta. Not a really tight circulation, but definitely a rotating thunderstorm that is now just about 4 miles south of El Dorado. This is going to be a close call south of El Dorado and eventually crossing 54 before it gets to Rosalia. So we'll continue to watch this area of circulation here, and we're continuing to assess just how much damage has occurred in Andover with another tornado that we had today. Got several pictures sent in via social media earlier. Frank, I noticed you have some new ones for us.
Yeah, we do have several photos coming in of this tornado as it went through Andover and the Augusta area and then moving into Butler County there. Tim Helfrich sent me this photo. You can see it very clearly. Let me go back one here. And this photo is telling from Katie. This is Prairie Creek and 13th. So valuable when you give us those coordinates where you're at. You can see the storm is kicking up debris. That tornado is kicking up debris. So we appreciate that, Katie. So far, Jay, the amount of photos I've had come in, the vast majority of these are of this very visible funnel. And I mentioned how visible it was on my drive in from the west side of Wichita. I could see it all the way, really essentially across the county. So a very visible storm. But what I'm not seeing so far very much of are photos of damage coming in. In fact, all the photos I'm seeing so far have not been of damage. Well, I don't think we get a tornado like this without some damage. But so far, if there is some good news in these photos, we have not seen much of that yet.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, that at this point, we would expect that, flood of damage pictures to start coming in also. So we're going to see what happened. All the damage reports we have.
We are getting another report from Butler County Emergency Management of a large funnel being reported. This is just southwest of El Dorado, and they do have spotters in the vicinity of that. So just what you were saying, that storm is cycling, yes. And that's been the behavior of this all along.
Yeah, and we're going to zoom back in once again. So, just stay hunkered down at this point, El Dorado, as this storm rolls through you. We've been talking about this really kind of redeveloping along north and northeast of Augusta, and now the circulation is, you can right back in here, if you look at the reflectivity, it would be this part of the thunderstorm just to the southwest of El Dorado, so that would match very nicely of why we would have a funnel in that area. So let's go back over to the storm relative motion map of the radar. We use the Wichita radar since it's the closest one. There's your storm relative motion map. And right there, not really a classic rotational signature, but a rotational signature just southwest of El Dorado. And this is more diffuse here. I tell you what, let me zoom in a little tighter. Let me get a little bit of a street grid here, because this might be developing. So, all right, there is Haverhill Road and Southwest 20th. So obviously that's the Kansas Turnpike there. There's K254 as it comes into town. So right in that area, we still have a rotation. So this is the velocity. This would be when going back toward, the radar and going away over at Eisenhower. So you'd make up the rotation there. And as we switch back over from the rotational mode of the radar to the reflectivity mode of the radar at this point, see, it matches with that little hook. So that would be very likely where the reports of the funnel are coming from. And if that tightens up and has the potential, obviously, in this atmosphere to produce a tornado, then that would take it into El Dorado proper. Now,
the latest reports coming in from Butler County Emergency Management, spotters are reporting golf ball sized hail. So not surprised how that is 1 mile south of El Dorado. And they're also reporting right now that funnel south of El Dorado maybe has retreated a little bit. It may have lifted a little bit, but what we're seeing here with these storms, I mean, they are continuing to cycle, and they could drop like this just about at any time. So continue to stay in those safe places if you're in the vicinity of El Dorado, especially on the south side of town.
All right, and there's that, the golf ball signature you're talking about as you get into town. I mean, there's Vine as you get into downtown there. So there's that, hail signature moving along 54. This would be where we had the funnel report, basically Haverhill Road, southwest of town near Southwest 20th. So now we're going to go back over to the storm relative motion map here. And once we do, that's that rotational signature that we've been seeing with the radar. The process, let me kind of back out. We're going to reset the scene across south central Kansas. The tornado warning continues for El Dorado and Butler County. We still have a tornado warning in effect for Greenwood County and Eureka. And, I'm not paying any kind of short shrift here. There's just not been in Eureka a very tight, very classic rotational signature with this storm. So let's go back over the past 30 minutes. We can understand why the Weather Service issued that warning when it was back in the western part of the county, but we're not seeing really what we call a tight signature, a tight stinger, tight gate-to-gate shear. But given the environment anywhere around Eureka to the north of Eureka, over towards between Tonopah and Hamilton along K99, it's still a good idea to exercise those tornado precautions. And now we're going to back the view out and slide back to the west. Remember earlier I was looking in Butler County back north of Potwin, and some other circulations over there that was past Elbing right there, and that's much weaker now. But between Elbing and DeGraff, as that's rolling over towards US 77 north of El Dorado, I think maybe you had a little potential for a weak brief spin up, but that has settled down also. Even that circulation back to the southwest of El Dorado is not as prominent as it was, but just south of town here, we're still watching for the potential to see if that kind of wraps back up to something we should be more concerned about. Going to go back over to the, we call it the debris detection mode or correlation coefficient mode off the radar. Admittedly, it's a pretty noisy product. I know it's hard to kind of decipher in real time, but we're going to use that. Kind of hard to tell when we got any debris lofted into the signal when it was at Andover, but we're looking back over into Greenwood County and Butler County. At this point, there's no really obvious signature at this time that we're continuing to watch. Frank?
Jay, we are starting to get some video come into this, and this is a place you are familiar with. Many folks might recognize this. This is Stearman and Benton. So this is as it was going south of Benton. So it gives you an idea of the strength of that tornado. So that is looking to the south from Stearman Bar and Grill there. So it looks like it went just south of Benton based on these videos coming in.
All right, and you know what? And that is a well-developed cone tornado. You know, it's not a big massive wedge. It is a cone tornado. So if I can take any good news from that, the damage path should be fairly narrow and not a very extensively wide damage path with that tornado. Now, where the path is, it can be very intense, because don't take width to determine wind speed. That doesn't necessarily correlate with one or the other.
And you can see there in those last frames, you do have a power flash with that. But what you're mentioning there, not an overly wide damage path, that kind of is backing up the fact that, again, we still are seeing essentially no images of damage yet. No doubt that there is some, but if folks do have pictures or reports of damage, I encourage you to post that on my Facebook page so we can pass that along.
All right, thanks a lot, Frank. We're going to go over to David Scott in just a second here. Let's go back to the reflectivity mode of the radar, which is, you know, what we're more familiar with. And here comes the next line of thunderstorms moving into greater Wichita as we speak, with that heavy rain from Whitewater, Furley, down through Valley Center, moving into northwest Wichita. And again, that little thin line out ahead of it, that's the initial gust of wind. That could be wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour before you get to the heavy rain and potentially hail. And the good news is, as long as we keep that wind gust line far out ahead of where the heavy rain is, that tends to help limit what we call these leading edge or QLCS tornadoes from spinning up.
Jay, when you get to your point there, we do have Cameron on the line. He should be on the line with us.
Is he on the phone? All right, Cameron, what have you got?
Hey, Jay, I'm pretty close to, I think, some tornado damage. I'm on Andover Road and East Douglas Avenue. I'm trying to get to Augusta and El Dorado to check and see if there's another tornado, but I've gotten stopped by the traffic and the potential damage. If you guys can see on my stream, you can see.
Where's your?
On there.
Aren't you on Live View 3?
Sorry?
Don't you have Live View 3?
Yeah, I have Live View 3.
Is it punched up?
It should be, yeah.
It is not. Recycle Live View 3. We are not getting picture from you.
Okay.
So
recycle. Let me do that real quick.
So recycle Live View 3, and then we'll get Cameron up via the Live View. So now let's go back over to KAKE First Alert Doppler HD, and we're going to slide back over to that thunderstorm. Maybe try to cycle another one again here between El Dorado, Rosalie, and Butler County. Let me go back over to the velocity mode of the radar using the Wichita radar and the base velocity at this point. Okay, you know what? Maybe trying to spin up a brand new circulation here. So anywhere, this is now already east of El Dorado. Put it in motion. Remember, we've been looking at this when it was over near Augusta. Not real classic, but you know what? Just based on the shape of the reflectivity, I'm going to be very careful right in here. Now, El Dorado proper could be a little weaker rotation right along 54 as that downtown and leading out of town, but that is much weaker. Remember, we did have a report of funnel cloud southwest of town. Not really seeing as strong a circulation now as we did earlier, but stay in your shelters and hunker down at this point. But that is starting to tighten up, and that's going to be crossing 54 between Prospect and Rosalia as that continues tracking off to the northeast. I tell you what, I'm going to stop the rotation on this. I'm going to get in a little bit tighter on it until we get the road grid to pop up. But this could be a developing tornado as we speak. Okay, there is Blue Stem Road. So that circulation is already past Blue Stem Road at this point in time, and will be crossing 54 over towards Pontiac. And so we got, am I hearing, what am I hearing here?
That is Cameron.
Is that still Cameron?
On the phone line there.
Oh, Cameron, so you're on the phone now. If you're able to reboot Live View 3?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it froze or something. I'm resetting it and hopefully getting this streamed to you guys very soon.
Okay, while we're doing that, Frank, what have you got?
We got a couple more photos coming in here. This was from KJ Hunt. This is down at Cook Airfield. This is at Cook Airfield is where this was taken at. And earlier in the evening, I was sent a video from Cook Airfield as the dust was kicking up storms. The storms were kicking up dust there, and then obviously now they're dealing with that tornado or seeing that. One more from the Benton area. Janelle Duvall sent us this photo. And as you can see, it is this one here. I mean, it's weakening at the surface, and that's what we're likely seeing here, is that this storm is going to be cycling, where we're going to be seeing it weakening and then dropping a tornado again. So as it continues to kind of go through that strengthening and weakening process as it continues to move across Butler County. No reports so far coming out of Greenwood County, which in that case, no news is good news. The last coming out of Butler County spotters reported a brief funnel cloud. This was also now another one maybe just north of El Dorado. So I'm not sure if that's actually with the line that is coming in.
We got picture. Take live view 3. Let's take live view 3, and Cameron, talk to us via the live view.
Hey Jay, yeah, I am
at Douglas Avenue. Lots of traffic. Haven't quite seen damage yet. I'm still trying to go towards El Dorado.
Take his audio through live view 3.
Get on the cycling supercell. You there?
Hi, Cameron. You're on. We got your live view up. What have you got? Where are you? Cameron, where are you? You're live on KAKE. Be the live view. Go. All right, Cameron, you're hot. Go.
All right, Jay. So
I
am on Andover Road and Central, and I am looking at a lot of the traffic, a lot of the commotion. I have not really seen the damage yet. I'm trying to move more northward towards El Dorado to go after this cycling supercell.
No,
but I have not seen the damage in person.
Cameron, no. Go towards Kellogg and Andover Road. Go towards the YMCA. Do not go to El Dorado.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Will do.
So tell us again exactly where you are.
I am at Andover Road in Central.
You're at Andover Road in Central.
I just passed Central.
Head southbound on Andover Road to Kellogg and see what's going on with the damage down there.
Okay.
All right.
I will do that.
Thank you, Cameron, and we'll keep you updated as he gets closer. And we got any update from Deb? Okay, this is starting to tighten back up here. This is south of 54. Glad we kind of caught this. As far as it's distant from, from US 54, this is only a couple of miles south. Here we are in Butler County between El Dorado and Eureka. And now it looks like it's starting to spin back up again. So let's go ahead and make sure we take those tornado precautions, because this looks like it's going to be the next tornado that's going to spin up. Now, this is already east of El Dorado at this point. So if you're in El Dorado, this tornado circulation is not going to impact you. This is going to be over more towards Rosalia and eventually crossing into Greenwood County. Now, if it stays kind of moving on a north-northeast path, that would keep it north of Reese and north of Eureka. Frank?
Jay, this is the first imagery that I've seen so far. This is the first imagery I've seen so far of the damage from the YMCA there. So yes, we are starting to see damage from the YMCA. All right, so there we are. Aaron Jansen sent these photos in. These are on my Facebook page. They're into the YMCA. So again, that is on the, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's kind of on the east side of town there, right? That is right there on,
it's on Kellogg. It's on Kellogg past Cloud. So it's past the Dillons, and it's basically, I would say, about a mile and a half to 2 miles east of the intersection of Andover Road and Butler Road, Andover Road, and Kellogg, just on the south side of Kellogg.
Yeah, these are the first images that I've seen so far coming in of the YMCA, and this matches up with what we are hearing of damage being there. Obviously, it looks like you have 1, 2, 3 vehicles here, and then obviously the front of that building is a tremendous amount of glass on the front, and it does look like a vast majority of that there has been blown out. And we'll continue to kind of look through these photos to see what we continue to get.
All right, Frank, and we have really tightening up the tornado signature here in Butler County. Let's get back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD. Here we go. There it is right there south of 54. I'm going to kind of pan it down. We're going to put this in motion for you over the past 30 minutes. This is the circulation that was first starting to develop near Augusta, and it's finally started. That's really starting to tighten up now. So this could be, and honestly, this is a more serious radar signature than what we saw with the Andover storm. I know we're getting, we're past sunset now, but this is a more destructive tornado that's going to cross 54. Now, this is already east of El Dorado, but this is your heads up for, already past Prospect, but over the old Pontiac over towards Rosalia, and then getting into Greenwood County. This is going to be tracking along US 54 and then into Greenwood County. And this is the strongest circulation that I'm seeing anywhere on the radar at this time. So we're going to continue to watch this. Let me go ahead and back the view out at this point. And let's see if we got anything else on the radar. I know we've got the line of storms itself moving through Wichita. I'm going to switch back over to the reflectivity product here. See if we got any spin up on the leading edge with that part of the thunderstorm line. But again, see the little thin blue line? That's the outflow boundary, staying just out ahead of the front and dry line now that it has merged, moving through. So that should reduce the chance of spin-ups on the leading edge. If this ever catches up, we're going to watch this whole leading edge, quick, brief tornadoes that could do damage. Not out of the question. Oh, you know what? Look at what's happening on the east side of El Dorado. Okay, looks like this one may be starting to tighten back up too. Any of these independent cells that are out ahead of that line, we've got enough shear here. So we're 177, comes in contact with a prospect. That's the circulation we were looking at earlier. I'm going to go back to it. This is really wrapping up. So this has got a tornado warning already in effect, and that will continue. There you go. There's the inbound towards the radar. There's the outbound just to the south of US 54. So it's crossing US 54 just east of the intersection of US 54 and K177. So that's going to move along, so anywhere around Rosalia to the north, and once you start getting over the county line into Greenwood County, Sally Yards, Ivanpah, probably going to stay north of Reese at this point. I'll be taking those tornado precautions at this time for this storm. Let me go over and see if we got any kind of debris getting kicked up here. So
with that storm, Jay, we are seeing reports of golf ball-sized hail reported just west of Rosalia. That was 2 miles west of Rosalia. With that storm that we were just talking about. So in addition to that tornado threat, and the Weather Service is going to continue that warning on there. We are starting to get a couple more photos from actually inside the YMCA there.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back over to David Scott. David?
Jay? Hey, thank you, Jay. Yeah, I just got off the phone with Butler County EMS, and they're saying they're not hearing any other reports of any damage other than at the YMCA. They say right now darkness is becoming an issue, and so they're not seeing a whole lot other than what's happening at the Y. Now we do have 2 crews heading that way. We have one heading to the Y. Also, we have a report of apparently damage to a home in the Andover area, and so we have another reporter heading up to check that out. We also are hearing from Evergy that there are more than 9,000 homes and businesses in the Andover area that are out of power right now, so crews are quickly moving to try to address that problem. Probably going to be more reports of that kind of thing going on. We also have some a photo and some video that was sent to us from a viewer of what happened in Andover. Okay, is that the photo or is that the video? I guess this is the photo. This is taken in the area of Rock Road and K96. So that obviously looking east toward the Andover area. And then we have some video that was sent to us from Bryce Greenwald of what he saw tonight. Can we get to that video? Here we go.
Tons of stuff.
And this is what Bryce Greenwald saw toward the Andover area as things were moving through there. Again, EMS is going out right now and trying to check out what all kind of damage may be in the Andover area right now. We just saw some pictures of what had happened to the Y there, and we have a crew heading that way, and also a report of damage to a home. But we will be scouring that area to try to find out what else has happened in the Andover area, and hopefully there won't be any more damage, but it appears that we probably will have more reports of this kind of thing happening as this storm continues to develop and move along. There you're seeing that funnel right there from the Andover area tonight. Again, Evergy is saying more than 9,000 homes and businesses in the Andover area are without power tonight, so that is going to be keeping crews very busy, and those numbers will probably continue to rise. That's it for now. Jay, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. Pretty soon we got, meteorologist Cameron Venable is in the vicinity in Andover. He's trying to maneuver back into the area to see exactly what happened. Hopefully we'll be getting to him in just a little bit. But to reset the scene, we've got a line of severe thunderstorms from Wichita all the way Whitewater to Graph here into Butler County up to the north. This is heavy rain, maybe some wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour. We still have 2 tornado warnings in effect, but the storm of the moment is this one here in Butler County that's already to the east of El Dorado that we did get some reports of golf ball size hail. Here we go over the past 30 minutes. These storms that are out by themselves ahead of the line, and particularly that one, that's the one to watch. This is the one that's probably producing another tornado as we speak. And as long as we maintain that outflow, you'll notice there's little points sticking out here. So it is trying in this environment to develop circulations on the leading edge of this whole line of thunderstorms. But as long as we keep that outflow boundary ahead, that's going to help. If it catches up to it, little brief week, what we call QLCS tornadoes, are not out of the question. And even though those QLCS tornadoes can be brief, they can still do some damage. So let's get back into the storm that we're concerned about right here in Butler County. We're going to zoom in. I'm going to switch over to the velocity mode. So this is right on top of US 54. Now there's 177 where it branches off to the north. That tornado threat is now to the east and basically right along US 54 as that's heading over towards Rosalia, and eventually we'll start getting farther north of 54 as that crosses into Greenwood County. So we go back over to the Wichita radar. Here we are with the storm relative map, and there's that area of circulation. I got to admit, it's a little bit of spread here. It's not what we call a gate-to-gate shear, but given the environment we're in, I could really see that tighten up. Looks like they're issuing a new tornado warning on that, Frank. I'm assuming it's going to be continuation for that one.
This is a new tornado warning. It's going to be for Butler and Greenwood County. It's going to go until 10 p.m. That storm is just 9 miles northeast of Leon. So just northeast of Leon, moving at about 30 miles per hour now. Getting word now, though, that we also have Deb on the line. She has made it to the YMCA. Deb, what are you seeing?
Jay?
Go ahead, Deb.
Okay, I'm at the Andover Y. We're trying to cut the video that I just took of the Y and get it to you guys to get on the air. But the Andover Y took a direct hit from this tornado. It is destroyed. I was just there. There are cars that were flipped and blown into the middle of the Y. There are cars overturned. The whole front of the Y is gone. I talked to a man who was working out in the Y when the tornado came. They issued the warning, and everyone went to the locker rooms to hunker down. He tells me that they heard like an explosion almost. That's how he described it. And then lots of dust and debris fell on them, but everyone got out safely. And then right now, police are trying to secure the parking lot because so many people are trying to get in there and take a look at it. So they asked me to leave as well. But we have amazing video of this devastation. The good news is...
Okay,
no
Deb, hang on one second. I think we have that sound bite. Let's go ahead and roll that.
It looked like the neighborhood right behind the Dillons here, and it kind of kept going up and down, like real small. And so we started putting everyone in the locker rooms, and then suddenly it just kind of exploded and went right over the Y. And when we were in the locker rooms, everything went dark, and it dusted. Like we had no idea what happened. Then we came out, and the cars were thrown in the front of the Y. The back pool is trashed. Every window is blown out. It's crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like. I've been here 24 years, and I've never seen a tornado before, and that was wild.
Do you work here?
I used to.
Oh, but you were working out.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me.
Wesley Schnauber.
So you're Wesley.
Schnauber. Okay.
So Wesley, anybody hurt that you know of?
I know of, everyone in the locker room seemed fine. Then the police showed up really quickly, but everyone's fine. The Y is flooding as we speak right now. You can hear it flooding right now. It's ruined. I don't know what they'll have. They'll probably have to scrape it and build a new one. But
How were you feeling when all this was happening?
it didn't feel real. It really, because like I've seen tornado warnings all my life. You know, the cliche like Kansas don't care. But and then when it hit, it was so sudden you didn't really have a time to react. It was just kind of like dark and dusty. But once you came outside and saw the shock and awe of it, it kind of is overwhelming. I think it happened so fast, people didn't really react until afterwards, and they kind of had the time to process what had happened.
Yeah, I live up north of here, and I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it hit something.
Yeah, it went right by my folks' place up on Indianola, and it just shoot north of them. I don't know if it's still going, but yeah.
Gosh, how scary. Leslie, I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay, and it's all material stuff. It can always be replaced, but no one got hurt, thankfully.
Okay,
but,
thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Deb, I'm going to get back to you in just a second, but I've got to talk about this along 54 near Roselia. This is a very strong tornado signature that we're seeing on radar. I'll put it in motion for you over the past 30 minutes. This is the one that kind of started forming near Augusta, but this is really wrapped up very quickly. That is significant, and that is going to be heading towards Roselia. You got to be down in your shelters at this point. This is a much more significant radar signature than what we saw with Andover earlier tonight, and this will be moving along and then just north of 54 and heading over towards Yards here in Greenwood County. So this is a very significant situation. I cannot stress enough here. We've already had the confirmed tornado tonight, and quite frankly, with that confirmed tornado in Andover, we were not. There's the debris signature, so we're getting a debris signature here too. So this is a very strong tornado that's on 54 at the current time. Now, Deb, are you still on the phone?
Yes, I'm still here, Jay.
Now, just kind of reset the scene here for me. You said the YMCA was destroyed, but you know what? We have visions of Greensburg where there was not a wall standing. Are there still walls standing? How much damage is there to the structure?
Well, the front of the building is gone. There are cars in the lobby. The roof is gone, and it's flooded. The wall of the Y, there are parts of it that are still standing there in the front. I couldn't get around to the back, but it's destroyed. It's not flattened, but it's destroyed.
Okay, all right, because I understand. It's just sometimes when you think, we were thinking, just a clean slate. It wasn't a clean slate, but it's beyond repair at this point. Going to have to be torn down and rebuilt, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
all right.
yep.
Deb, you got anything else for us with that? We got your interview, and we still got what's going to be probably a very significant tornado in progress here along US 54. What are you going to be doing from here, Deb?
I am waiting for a crew to get here so we can actually go live on TV, because all I have right now is my phone because I was off work today.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for them to get here so we can take a live shot to show you.
Okay.
But there are some of the, and I know you know this area.
Right.
There are some of the apartments that are right down here by the Y were also hit.
Okay, the Cornerstone apartments?
Yeah, they're the ones just west
the ones
of the Y.
Between the Dillons and the Y?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
What about the Dillons? Was there any damage as far west as the Dillons?
I can't tell. There are a lot of emergency vehicles in that parking lot, but I can't get into the parking lot to see. But there is debris all over the road. Trees are down. Cars, like I said, were flipped in the parking lot of the Y. So, and I watched that tornado live as it was happening, and you could see it went for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a lot more damage.
All right. Deb, we got you there. Where is Cameron Venable? I know he was on Live View 3. Can we put his picture up? Can we get an updated location on him? Can we get Cam on the phone? Okay,
I'm
Cam.
on 54 near Andover Road.
All right, Cam, you're on air.
I'm on 54 near Andover Road.
Okay, Cam, so what are you seeing from your location?
Okay, I'm on 54 near Andover Road. I'm trying to get to the YMCA, but everything's blocked off, grid-like traffic. I'm trying my best to get there.
Okay,
and I'm going to continue moving that direction.
So are you eastbound or what? You're eastbound, I'm assuming?
Yes, I am eastbound on Kellogg.
So you're eastbound on Kellogg. Are you right at the intersection, or is the Dillons off to your right, or how far east are you?
I am about to roll up on Andover Road, and to my right, it's hard to see, but it looks like it's a gas station, so I'm not quite at the Dillons yet.
Okay, so you're not to Andover Road yet?
No, I'm probably less than a mile away at the moment.
Okay, so you're on Kellogg eastbound, but you're not to Andover Road at this point?
No, I was moving northbound on Andover Road, tried to go southbound, but it was blocked off, so I had to go all the way around. Here I'm on 54 again, moving eastbound.
Okay, so
about
off to
go towards Andover
Off
Road.
to your right, are you to where the Holiday Inn is yet, or what's off to your right?
It's very dark. It looks like it might be. It's hard to tell. There's no lights,
Cam,
but it's not Holiday.
All right, Cam, as you get closer, we'll come back to you. Let's go back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD. Still got this very strong tornado signature now just to the north of US 54 here in Butler County in the vicinity of Roselia. You got to be down in your shelters in Roselia at this point. This is going to continue tracking into western parts of Greenwood County. So we're going to put that in motion for you. Again, very impressive signature here, very scary signature. This is a stronger signature than what we had with the tornado that went through Andover earlier this evening. I'm going to back the view out. We're going to check the rest of KAKEland here. I know we're focused on this single storm, but given the environment, that's the one that's most likely to give us a problem. So let's go back over to the reflectivity mode of the radar. So here we are, go to Wichita. We're going to go back in the base reflectivity. There's that line of thunderstorms coming through town. Now you've got the tornado warnings basically for that one storm. Let's go back over the past 30 minutes. Given the environment, anything out ahead of that line that's by itself could take advantage of the shear in the atmosphere and produce tornadoes. That's what's happened in Andover and between Andover and Rose Hill earlier tonight. That line of storms, still the outflow is very close to it. Hopefully it'll get a little farther out ahead, but along that leading edge, I would still be cautious for the potential of QLCF weak brief spin-ups. We'll kind of zoom in on the southern part of the line, and then I'm going to track it from the south back to the north. So let me go over to the slide tool here. So as we get north of Clearwater, and this line's going to continue building down to the southwest. So as this gets into Sumner County, I do expect more thunderstorm development. Raining heavily McConnell Air Force Base, Bel Air, and now you have rain getting back into Andover where they just had the tornado. So unfortunately, that's going to kind of mess up with the recovery efforts, and if there's any rescue efforts going on, we'll continue to watch that as it moves over towards Augusta. We'll continue to slide over towards Butler County here, Potwin and DeGraff, and then you start getting into much lighter rain, not as strong as you get into Chase County. So let's get back into the storm of the moment, and you'll, oh wow, look at this hook, how it wrapped back into itself. So confidence very high. We had a tornado south of 54, southeast of El Dorado, crossing 54. Don't know if this is wrapped up and included, and we're going to expect another one here, but we may still have a tornado in progress at this point. What have you got, Frank?
Yeah, Jay, I want to bring our attention also to folks just in Wichita. We are getting some reports of straight line wind damage, so as this line is actually coming through. So Harry between Edgemore and Woodlawn, sounds like multiple trees potentially down in that area. And again, that's just likely high wind with this. Also, our partners out the National Weather Service reporting they are getting wind-driven quarter-sized hail. So the wind driving that into the building there. So in addition to these storms we've been tracking, obviously the tornadoes take a lot of precedence here, but even if you're in Wichita, you need to be inside. You don't want to be messing with wind-driven hail. And again, these storms, even as this line moves through, still pose that wind threat. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning still in effect.
Thanks a lot. Matter of fact, Frank, why don't you also check Earth Networks, go to the Kansas Aviation Museum site, see what kind of wind gusts we're going to get there when it comes through, and maybe we can get some pictures off that camera. So here we go with the tornado warning still in effect for parts of Butler County into Greenwood County. And you see that little drop there? That could be what we call a bounded weak echo region. That could be around the tornadic circulation. So let me go over let me go back over to the Wichita radar and look at the storm relative map. There we are right there. Okay, still confidence very high that we have a tornado in progress north of US 54, north of Roselia. So this is moving north of Roselia. Stay hunkered down at this point in time. But downstream will be Ivanpah, will be Lapland, will be Hamilton as this crosses K99. As far as Reese and Eureka, this circulation probably going to stay north of you. But again, just to the north of Rosalia right now, we got strong gate-to-gate shear. And you know what? We've had multiple tornadoes from this. The one that struck Andover quickly went up to the north and dissipated between Benton and Towanda. But this is a brand new circulation here that's been getting tighter and tighter and tighter near Rosalia. So if along 54, at least it's getting away from you here, they're going to be extending that tornado warning downstream. Go ahead.
There is some damage west of Rosalia. Again, that's coming from Bryce Kintai. That is southeast Stony Creek Road and US 54, saying there is some damage there, and that's again coming from Bryce. As mentioned, we said we were going to bring up the stats here from the Kansas Aviation Museum. Right now, wind gusting only to about 28, but I do think that number is likely going to go up as this line pushes further to the south and east. And again, let me switch back over here and we'll show you that storm near Rosalia. That is right now that greatest circulation just north of town. So it's just north of 54, and as Bryce was saying, that was just a couple miles west of Rosalia where he was reporting that.
Bryce is in Chaser 1. So anytime we want to talk about Bryce, we can bring up Chaser 1. That's where Bryce is. Bryce Kintai's stream is hot, so we can show his stream hot anytime we talk about it. And if you want to get Bryce to call in on either yellow or red, get him to call in, we can get him to tell us what's going on. So here's that tornado warning still in progress here for Butler County, north of Rosalia. Very tight rotation. And that's going to be moving towards Ivanpah. So that's getting farther away from 54 at this point in time. So if we got any update from Cameron Venable, where's Cameron's location right now? And we got an update, you know, is he getting closer to Deb? So where are we? We got, I see David's on the phone over there. So
South Andover Road, it's all blocked off. I'm trying to get there.
Okay, Cameron, you're live on KAKE. Talk us through what's going on, buddy.
Okay, so I am pretty close to Dillon's. I'm going to see if I can get into the parking lot. That's going to be just to the right here.
Now, is there any sign of damage at the Dillons?
I'm trying to see as I get a little closer.
I'm assuming that I'm assuming you're having trouble because the power's out at that intersection.
Correct. The power's out in a lot of Andover.
All right. So once again,
I'd say like the east side of Andover.
Yeah. Get us. Okay. Now that we're back on KAKE, give us your position once again. What road are you on? What direction are you going? What intersection are you near?
Okay. I am moving northbound on Andover Road, going back towards Kellogg. I should be right next to the Dillons. I'm going to see if I can go into the parking lot. I assume that's where all these lights are. Last couple times they haven't let me in, but let me try.
Okay, Cameron.
Okay,
Cameron,
right
have
here.
you? I mean, are you past Harry? How far? Okay, so I see you're making the turn now, and so now you're entering the parking lot where the Dillons is. There's the Arby's is down there on your left. The Dillons is on your right, and it looks like power's out. Is there any sign of damage where you are?
I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm getting closer to the Dillons in a sec at this turn. Okay, so you can see a lot of the lights now. Now we're getting closer.
Yeah, okay. So now you made the turn into the parking lot.
This is the Dillons.
Yeah, I see that you've got the gas station there on your left. The Dillons is going to be on your right.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm gonna.
And as you proceed through the road that goes between the Dillons and hits the roundabout over there on Cloud, that'll take you over to Cornerstone Apartments and then near the Y. While you're doing that, let's go back over to Deb Ferris. Deb?
I just found Cam.
Okay, so you've got Cam now. So you can now work with Cam on that. And I just want to get everybody updated on what's going on with the tornado circulation here north of US 54. This is
Jay, let's take Bryce's, if we can take Bryce's stream there.
Let's go to Chaser 1. Let's go to Chaser 1. And okay, so what do we got, Frank? Why don't you?
And I have implicit trust in you. I really do. It just makes me nervous, period. multi-vortex tornado
exactly
north of 54, north of
where
Rosalia.
he's at there.
This is on Jordan.
I believe he is on 54, but once in a while from the lightning there, getting a little bit of a lowering from that, so we're going to continue to monitor it.
All right, can we get Bryce to call in so we can get him on the phone? Okay, all right. So Deb, let's go back to you. What have you got?
Parking lot. I just talked to a police officer who tells me at this point they have no reports of any injuries. The Dillons was not hit, but they have several homes that were hit and several apartments that were hit. And, of course, the Y took a direct hit. So I'm with Cam, as I mentioned. So we're going to drive back over to the Y and get a live shot up for you guys so you can actually see some of this damage.
Okay, so can we get Deb's audio, Cameron's video up at the same time? And so, Deb, are you in the car with Cameron at this point? Okay, so now we're on the live view. So, Cameron, is Deb with you now?
Yeah, Deb's about to be in the car with me, yes.
Okay, fine. Then we'll do this all through the live view 3 here. So Deb was saying that y'all are going to try to get over to the Y and give us a shot. Is that what's going on now?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Make sure and get her on the microphone that we're using for live 3. So, all right. So you're joining us now live. This is Cameron Venable. He's in the parking lot of the Andover Dillons. This is Kellogg, Andover Road, and East Cloud Avenue. Cloud is just one half block south of Kellogg near the intersection of Andover Road. The YMCA is about 3/4 of a mile east of this location. You can exit this parking lot, go through a roundabout, and then get over access to the Y. So as we were tracking the tornado live, based on the radar, I was concerned that maybe it was going to strike the Dillons, but apparently it moved just to the east of the Dillons and struck the YMCA at that point. So we're going to go over and get information on that with Deb and Cam. Let's go back to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD because we still have tornado in progress.
And I do believe we have Bryce
Frank.
on the line now, Jay. I believe Bryce is in the Rosalia area. Bryce, can you tell us what you're seeing?
Bryce, you're on KAKE.
Hey, Jay, I'm sitting about 2 miles east of Rosalia in eastern Butler County, looking off to the north. Currently, I don't have a tornado on the ground. The storm has been putting down what looks like just very scraggly wall cloud, almost hanging on the ground. It's quickly moving off to the east-northeast here, and the storm is actually kind of getting back in with outflow at this point on the backside. So hopefully the tornado threat will start to quickly diminish.
All right, now Bryce, if you were tracking this earlier, were you able to confirm that this produced a tornado?
No, not from my vantage point. We did see a power flash, so we'd have to assume that at the time the winds where we were very calm, but just off to our east down US 54, we saw a very large power flash. And,
okay. I got to admit, based on the radar indication, Bryce, I was probably pretty convinced that we had a tornado on the ground somewhere near Rosalia, and then it got north of Rosalia at this point. I know you couldn't confirm one from your point. Any kind of no evidence of a damage track on 54 because you're in Rosalia now, right?
Yes, that's correct. We saw some it's dark, so you have to keep that in mind. But we saw what looked like tree damage and maybe some tin and a couple of signs down on 54 just to the west of Rosalia. So either RFD or some massive winds came through, or probably more likely a tornado.
All right. Now, what is your chase plan from here on out? I mean, I know it's night, and chasing at night's not the best thing in the world. The primary circulation is well north of US 54. So where are you going from here, Bryce?
We haven't got that far, Jay. I think we might go ahead and sneak off to the east a couple more miles, as this thing is going to track into western Greenwood here pretty quick. It's almost crossing the line now. So we may stay on this for a couple more minutes or a couple more radar sweeps and see what it does.
All right, thanks a lot. Frank, you got anything new on your end?
Based on what Bryce is saying there, that is kind of confirmed with other reports in the Rosalia area. At about 9:27, the fire department there did report a tornado on the ground that was 2 miles north of Rosalia, and that was followed shortly later by a report that it had lifted. So this cycling nature of these storms continues here, where it puts down a tornado for a time and then it lifts again. We're starting to see some new photos come in. This one here came in from Cheryl, and this is another shot of the front of the YMCA. So we've seen it now from a couple different vantage points. Obviously it's dark now, but this was taken before then, and you can see multiple vehicles here in the entryway in the front portion of the YMCA. Again, more damage photos beginning to come in, though it seems like it's highly concentrated in this area.
Let me go back and do some of the tornado warning coverage here. Frank, I heard the ding, and I got a feeling that some of the tornado watch counties are being canceled. So if you could update a tornado watch map, we can kind of reset the scene for everybody.
And I do want to report also that they did issue a new tornado warning still for that storm that we are watching there as it goes into Greenwood County. So that new tornado warning, that one is going to be a brand new one issued. That one's going to go until 10:15, so we'll continue to watch that.
I will highlight that one for you. So that's until 10:15. That's the brand new one for eastern Butler County and for Greenwood County. Now, this new warning that has been issued does not include the city of Eureka. This is far enough north of 400. It's going to cross north of Sally Irons here, but over towards Ivanpah. And as it approaches K99, it's going to be well to the north of Eureka. So this is western parts of Greenwood County. That is still a really good circulation. I know that as we were talking to meteorologist Bryce Kintai, he wasn't able to confirm a tornado from his viewpoint, but based on the velocity signatures we were seeing and just based on what has happened earlier tonight, I would say it's probably pretty likely that we did have a tornado with that. Still got the circulation not quite as strong here. Let me go over to the reflectivity mode of the radar, and we'll kind of reset the scene across south central Kansas at this point. So let's go ahead and kind of back everything out. Remember, the line of thunderstorms that's rolling through Wichita still has the potential for some wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour. And we're going to see that thunderstorm line continue to extend back towards the southwest. And that line is starting to catch up with the storm that's producing the tornadoes that's moving out of Butler County into Greenwood County. Honestly, once that line over, go ahead, Frank.
Good size. We're starting to get some reports within that line of some pretty good sized hail. Couple reports coming in of 2-inch hail, so that's about the size of an egg. Another report here. This is in the Andover area. So while folks are there either surveying or trying to clean up or do that sort of thing, we're talking about golf ball sized hail now being reported. And if Cameron does have any reports on that as it does come through, we'll be looking for it. But 1 mile south-southeast of Andover, Fire Department reporting golf ball sized hail coming down at 9:34.
All right, thanks a lot, Frank. And we got a brand new, and we're both showing at the same time here, a severe thunderstorm warning for Butler County and Cedric County. That is until 10:30. And unfortunately, that heavy rain is getting back over the area where we've already had the tornado strike. As far as what's still ongoing, we have the tornado warning that has been, a new one was issued for western parts of Greenwood County and for eastern Butler County. So this is well past El Dorado. This is going to be northwest of Eureka. And if this continues and you extrapolate it, basically Hamilton, north up to Madison along K99, you would be in the extended path. Let's go back 30 minutes ago. There's the line of thunderstorms as it grinds through Wichita, Augusta, El Dorado, and along the turnpike from Cassidy up to the Bazaar cattle pens. And out ahead of it was the lone cell that recycled and I would say likely produced tornadoes south of El Dorado and then crossing 54 between El Dorado and Roselia. Still got nice little curvature and circulation here, and that's why the National Weather Service is continuing the tornado warning. So let's go back over to the Wichita radar. We're going to go over to the storm relative motion map. We're going to zoom into the part of the storm that I think is very likely been producing tornadoes at this point. In a few minutes, we'll try to get an update from our KAKE First Alert storm tracker meteorologist Bryce Kintai. And it looks like another circulation popping up that's recycling just to the northwest of Salliard. Now, that's the county line. This is Greenwood County, that's Butler County. So just to the north of US 54, we'll continue to track that new circulation. I got to admit, this is smaller, but remember, it wasn't a very large circulation that has produced the damage that has occurred around Andover tonight. So we've got that tornado that we're dealing with the cleanup on, and I still think when this crossed 54 that at some point we were probably producing a tornado. This is just some very tight signatures compared to what we've been seeing earlier tonight. I'm going to go back over to the, we call it the correlation coefficient, sometimes we call it debris detection, but it's a real noisy product. I mean, sometimes it's hard to read, not always a real clear-cut signal, but you can kind of make out when it comes just there, where you see a little blue shade, that might be some debris that was lofted into the Doppler radar beam at that point. Again, not really conclusive. Sometimes you can get a lot of confidence in a signature with these. Sometimes you can't, and this is one of them. So let me go back over to the storm relative at this point, and even that little circulation near Sally Yards, not as pronounced as it was. And as we slide up to the north, this is good. Not really seeing a tight rotation, but this storm has cycled several times. Let's see if it cycles again. One thing that's in our favor as far as disrupting that kind of circulation is the fact that the parent line of thunderstorms, as that cold front has been merging with the dry line. If you've been watching us for the past several days, we were talking about the dry line. Anything that goes up along or east of the dry line, that's the tornado threat. That's what happened in Andover and north of Rose Hill tonight. Along the thunderstorm line itself, once the cold front caught the dry line, the primary was going to be damaging wind gust and hail, and even on the very leading edge for a while, some weaker, briefer tornadoes. But the strongest tornado is what developed in parts of extreme eastern Sedgwick County, south of 400, probably around 400, and Harry at that point, and then crossed Andover, did damage to the Y, and then came up to the north. Let's go over to David Scott. David?
All right, thanks, Jay. We are hearing now that Sedgwick County has declared an emergency for the county. We're not hearing a whole lot of reports or seeing a lot of reports of damage in Sedgwick, but there has been an emergency declaration. Let's take a look at what they are saying. A verbal declaration to activate Sedgwick County Emergency Operations Center and the local emergency operations plan. The declaration will help facilities with state aid. It's currently evaluating the damage in southeast Wichita and Sedgwick County. We'll keep you updated on air and online about this at KAKE.com. We're also hearing that there are now about 18,000 homes and businesses served by Evergy that are without power. We had heard that about 7,700 of those are in Sedgwick County, and we're hearing that there are about 9,000 homes and businesses, or more than that, just a little bit more than that, in Butler County that are out of power. Also, the sheriff in Reno County, or in Butler County, they aren't exactly issuing a declaration of emergency, but the sheriff is saying, anyone in Butler County, do not go on the roads. Don't go anywhere. Just stay home. Let the emergency workers do what they are doing. We have our Deb Ferris, who has been out at the Y. That is the main area of damage that we are hearing about in the Andover area. We want to go back to her. She's been there for quite a while, and she happens to be off today, but she lives right near that area. Deb, what are you hearing and seeing right now?
Okay, David, can you see our picture now? We are live at the Andover Y. I was right up next to it earlier, but the police have secured the parking lot now. But if you take a look at this video, live video, it's hard to see because it's raining and we're getting some pea-sized hail here. But the front of the Y is gone. There are cars inside the Y. The tornado hit this Y directly and destroyed it. Jay and I were talking earlier about this. It's not flattened, but it's definitely destroyed. Like I said, the front of it is gone. The front walls, which face south, are gone, and there are cars inside. It was flooding earlier when I was right up next to it, and I have some really good video on my Facebook page, on my KAKE Facebook page. If you guys want to take a look at that, you can see right up next to the Y what it looked like from that vantage point. But with our camera this far back, it's kind of hard to see with the rain. I did talk to a couple of police officers. They tell me that right now they have not heard of any injuries in the Andover area, so that is great news. They did say the Y took a direct hit. There were some apartments and homes that were damaged. Right now, because it's dark, they don't know exactly how much damage was done, but we have seen lots of debris, trees ripped out of the ground. I even got a flat tire because I drove over, I guess, a nail at some point. But I will tell you, you just mentioned how the Butler County Sheriff doesn't want anyone in this area. There are so many cars here, sightseers trying to go out and see the damage, that it's preventing the emergency vehicles to get where they need to be.
So if you are in the Andover area, stay away. Just go home, stay inside, because they're trying to figure out exactly what's happened here and get everything, get a handle on it. But right now, the Y is the biggest damage that we've seen. The Dillons, which is just a little bit west of here, was not damaged at all. So we will continue to cover this for you guys, and we'll try to get closer if we can in a few minutes.
Yeah, Deb, it really is amazing. It's really amazing that no one at that Y, or anywhere else for that matter, was hurt in this. The Y was open at the time, correct? And people were working out. Was there any evacuation that you've heard of that happened before this?
There should be 2 back here. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, I just talked to someone who was in the Y working out. Yes, it was open. They were working out. They heard the tornado warnings. They took cover in the locker room. Do we still have that interview that I did with one of the guys who was inside the Y at the time? Okay, if we can run that right now, that'd be great.
It looked like the neighborhood right behind the Dillons here, and it kind of kept going up and down, like real small. And so we started putting everyone in the locker rooms, and then suddenly it just kind of exploded and went right over the Y. And when we were in the locker rooms, everything went dark and it dusted. Like we had no idea what happened. And we came out, and the cars were thrown in the front of the Y. The back pool is trashed. Every window is blown out. It's crazy. Like I've never seen anything like. I've been here 24 years and I've never seen a tornado before, and that was wild.
Do you work here?
I used to.
Oh, but you were working out.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me.
Wesley Schnauber.
So you're Wesley.
Schnauber.
Okay. So Wesley, anybody hurt that you know of?
Not that I know of. Everyone in the locker room seemed fine. Then the police showed up really quickly, but everyone's fine. The Y is flooding as we speak right now. You can hear it flooding right now. It's ruined. I don't know what they'll have. They'll probably have to scrape it and build a new one. But
How were you feeling when all this was happening?
it didn't feel real. It really, because like I've seen tornado warnings all my life. You know, the cliche like Kansas don't care. But and then when it hit, it was so sudden you didn't really have a time to react. It was just kind of like dark and dusty. But once you came outside and saw the shock and awe of it, it kind of is overwhelming. I think it happened so fast, people didn't really react until afterwards, and they kind of had the time to process what had happened.
Yeah, I live up north of here, and I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it hit something.
Yeah, it went right by my folks' place up on Indianola, and just shoot north of them. I don't know if it's still going, but yeah.
Gosh, how scary. Well, Wesley, I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay, and it's all material stuff. It can always be replaced, but no one got hurt, thankfully.
Okay,
but,
thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that is just incredible,
Okay, so
that force that we're looking at right now. Yeah, looking at the pictures of those cars that were thrown from the parking lot over the grass into the lobby of the YMCA. Incredible amount of force there. Amazing that nobody was hurt. Apparently there must have been at least a little bit of warning. Sounds like a lot of people were hunkered down in the locker room that proved to be strong enough to be able to protect all of them. That is just absolutely amazing to look at.
I don't think so. Yeah, it was crazy, David. I'll tell you, I was right up basically in the front of the Y, and I could see those cars in there, and the whole front of the building is gone, and there are trees that were blown over in the parking lot, massive cars, trucks, vans that were turned over and thrown into the front of the Y. But like Wesley just said, no one was hurt in that locker room, and that's just amazing and really incredible. So that's the good news from all of this. Now we can only hope and pray nobody else was injured from these tornadoes that have broken out tonight.
Right, in the Andover area or anywhere else. And we're also hearing a number of homes that were damaged in the Andover area. We have crews searching around the Andover region trying to find where this damage is and see just how bad it is. And fortunately, we have not heard of anyone being injured, and hopefully we won't as we go along throughout the night trying to gather all this information. Again, the sheriff of Butler County is telling everybody, apparently there are a lot of people who are not listening, who are going out and trying to get a look at what's going on out there. That's exactly what they don't want you to be doing. You're just getting in the way while people are trying to do their jobs. Also, we have an emergency declaration tonight in Sedgwick County. We will get much more of this to you as our crews survey the damage and are getting reports back to us. For now, we'll send it over to Jay.
All right, thanks a lot, David. We still have the line of thunderstorms that's moving through Wichita and back into Andover with the heavy rain. But let's talk about real quickly just the potential for the tornado threat. The tornado warnings now have been canceled for Butler County. It's all Greenwood County now. Let's go back over to the velocity and see if this thing is wrapped back up here. So let's go off to the Wichita. We'll go to the storm relative motion map right there, just between Ivanpah and Lapland. That's the next area of circulation. Here we go 30 minutes ago. And this has been pretty consistent. Is it north of Roselia? See how it kind of weakens and then ramps back up. There might be another smaller circulation developing north of 54. I'm going to watch that because Eureka proper, not concerned, but from the airport up to Eureka Lake, if that holds together, that could drift over the airport and towards Eureka Lake. So if you're north of town, go ahead and exercise those tornado precautions. Anywhere around Lapland, you need to still exercise the tornado precautions based on that signature. And that's going to take it over towards Burkett and Hamilton as it crosses US 99. Frank?
Butler County Emergency Management has reported there may be some damage in the vicinity of Roselia, but they're still trying to work on exactly identifying where that is at. And obviously it is dark now, so that makes it all the more challenging. I want to show you this photo right here. This is taken from 21st and Andover Road. So this is north of the YMCA by about 3 miles, and you can look back and see that storm. And then this is obviously what it ended up looking like there with that storm, that tornado just shoving the cars right on into the entranceway of the YMCA. Cheryl Tenbrook sent us that photo. And there's a tremendous amount of photos. I think there's 300 and some reports on my Facebook page right now if you'd like to go check some of those out. I want to give you just kind of a reset here. What are we looking at here with this storm? Because there's a lot of parts of KAKEland we're not talking about. And the reason we're not talking about you is because there's nothing going on. Western Kansas, really pretty quiet. You do have some rain moving into Goodland, Colby. Enjoy the shower. It is not strong. It is not severe. Here's the line of storms as it is pushing to the east. Now, the vast majority of this now south and east of the Kansas Turnpike, so it's becoming much calmer in and around Wichita as these storms slide off to the east. Let's show you that tornado watch. The National Weather Service has steadily been chipping away at this and continuing to drop counties from this, and we're likely going to see more like Marion, Harvey, and Cedric County dropped very shortly as those storms move further off to the east. We did have reports from the Kansas Aviation Museum measured on our sensor. I saw it as high as 56 miles per hour with the wind gusts coming through. We're now down to about 27 with that north wind sustained at about 23. You can still see there's lots of lightning flashes in this. If you're in Wichita, you look to the east, you're going to be seeing those. Jay, what do you have?
Let's go back over to the tornado warning that's still in progress for Greenwood County. That circulation in the vicinity of Lapland is still there, not as strong as it was earlier, but it is still there. And that other one, northwest of Eureka, this is weakened quite a little bit, but still anywhere between the airport over towards Eureka Lake, north of town. I would stay in your shelters at this point. This is definitely the more concerning signature near Lapland. We'll see if this kind of ramps back up and intensifies. Not as strong as it was, but based on the storm movement, that'll take it over towards Burkett, Hamilton, and eventually into Bisbee. So let's switch off the velocity mode. Let's go back over to the reflectivity mode of the radar. That's the one that we're used to seeing most of the time. And as I back out the view, it's the line of thunderstorms. The cold front is catching up with that independent cell. Remember, with the independent cells ahead of the dry line could take advantage of the atmosphere and that shear and spin of the atmosphere in order to form tornadoes. That's what happened tonight around Andover, and very likely, I'm thinking south of El Dorado and near 54 between El Dorado and Roselia, even north of 54. A lot of radar indications probably of tornadoes. Earlier, we did have other tornadoes across parts of Dickinson County, crossing 43 south of Enterprise after Enterprise had 3 to 4 inch hail fall. And then we had some other weaker, briefer tornadoes around Carlton, where K4, just to the north of K4 in southern Dickinson County. And then Bryce Kintai was with us. We showed you live some what we call land spouts, or some very weak tornadoes on the leading edge of that line of thunderstorms that was near Tampa in Dickinson County. That was also down in Marion, near Hillsboro. And then it was in about that time that we started getting that tornado to develop right along the Cedric County, Butler County line, probably in the vicinity of, I'm going to say probably about 143rd to 159th near Harry in that location. And then that's what came up apparently south of the Dillons, and then came north near the YMCA, which is east of the intersection of Kellogg and Andover Road, and then came to the north. Now, we were still seeing some good radar signatures on the north side of Kellogg. So what's going to remain here is, okay, we're all focused on what has happened at the YMCA, but then that tornado started tracking due north. And so that's going to take it near Andover Park, near to the east of Andover Park, which would put it just east of the police department, the library, the city hall of Andover, those locations, and then tracking northward. And remember, we were talking to Deb Ferris, and she was still seeing it when it was probably north of the Kansas Turnpike, and it didn't dissipate until it got close to K254 between Towanda and Benton at that time. And earlier, Frank, you were showing us some great photographs from Stearman Field at the restaurant there in Benton of the, one thing that, this has been a very photogenic tornado. The base was high enough, and you even mentioned, Frank, that you were seeing it from the west side of town.
That's right, and this gives you that perspective. This is that shot you were talking about, 21st and Andover Road. I mean, very, very high base. When I was coming into the station, I was right by the Cedric County Zoo looking across the new water treatment plant, and I could see the tornado from that far away. And you're talking about a considerable distance there across the city. So yes, a very, very photogenic tornado tonight, and I can't thank our viewers enough for supplying these images for us. And it really drives home the point that these storms can rapidly intensify, they create a tornado, and then they dissipate rapidly as well. And so that's just kind of been the cycle that we've had. And unfortunately, we get images like this. But as we mentioned earlier, these tornadoes, they have not been overly wide tornadoes, so the damage path is narrow. You still have tremendous damage like we're seeing here at the YMCA, but it's just not an overly widespread path. Latest National Weather Service warning coming out here, severe thunderstorm warning, that is going to be for Butler and Greenwood County. So if you are looking at that new warning coming out, Butler and Greenwood County, severe thunderstorm warning, possibility of inch to inch and a half hail with this, and also the wind gust to about 60 miles per hour. We did have some reports in Wichita of straight line wind damage. That was between on Harry, between Edgemore and Woodlawn, of the possibility of some damage there, possibly to some roofs and also to some trees. But that latest severe thunderstorm warning for Butler and Greenwood County, that one's going to go until 11 o'clock. So still about an hour, thinking that these storms do have a fair amount of strength.
All right, sorry about that. Just getting a text from my family. Everything's fine with it. We live in near close to the Andover Wichita city limit, so I was just making sure everything was okay there. They're good, and we continue to keep an eye on what's going on. And Frank, do me a favor, call down to the newsroom, because I just got some info. You remember Eric Duncan? Eric Duncan was very close to that tornado, says he has some footage we want to see. So let the newsroom know to expect a call from Eric, and we'll try to get that on air for you. So as we go back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD, let me put
Eric
this
Duncan
in motion for you over the past 30 minutes. And I could still, as this continues to track on off towards the east here, let me zoom in, and we're going to track it from the south down to the north. That leading edge is out ahead of the line of thunderstorms here. That is the first outflow. So the winds shift out of the northwest as soon as that line passes you. That's good, because the farther that line is away from the heavy rain, that's going to eliminate the leading edge QLCS tornado threat that we're going to be concerned about as this comes through. Now, as we slide on up to the north, that line's kind of caught back up over here towards Beaumont and up to Eureka. So we're going to watch between here and there to see if any curls form on the leading edge. Notice Eureka got a little curl here, so I would just play it safe and go ahead, shelter down, because not only is there the potential with a tornado on the leading edge here, let me go back over to the velocity, but you could have some enhanced wind gust with that. Anytime you see a little curl on the leading edge of this line of storms, giving this environment here. So, okay, Eureka, maybe got some gusty winds rolling through now as this continues through Butler County through Greenwood County, exiting Cedric County, and that's where we have severe thunderstorm warnings still in effect. So severe thunderstorm warning until 11 o'clock for Butler and Greenwood County, severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Sedgwick and Butler County until 10:30. And as this holds together, warnings will be coming out for Elk County, including Howard. Warnings will be coming out for KAKE County, including Atlanta and over towards the old Grand Summit Station. Now, the tornado warning, notice that area of circulation that we had near Ivanpah. This is gotten occluded. It's completely kind of wrapped into itself. The line of thunderstorms has caught up with it. I know we still have, if you look in the red box there, that's still a tornado warning coming up until 10 o'clock. Well, that's 1 minute away, and I don't see why the National Weather Service would extend it at this point. So let's kind of back out the view here one more time. We're looking at the velocity data, not really seeing anything that's rotating at this point. Again, that circulation near Ivanpah that was heading towards Hamilton. Notice how that's occluded. That's looking really good there. So, actually, let me go back over and, well, I'm kind of getting a little clicky here. Frank, what have you got? Yeah, okay. We're going the wrong way. Yeah, hit the home button. I think we're going to be fine.
West of Andover Road on Harry. Our cell service, I can't even check.
Okay. Eli, you're live on KAKE.
Hey, Jay, yeah, sorry about that. Take a look at this, though. We are actually stuck about a quarter mile west of Andover Road on Harry. We're stuck in between two different road closures. So take a look at the traffic. I don't know if you can see that over my shoulder, but it's backed up. We couldn't leave here if we wanted to. But right in front of us, we did find this big tree that is totally blocking this driveway. Now, kind of like Jay has been saying over the last several minutes of our coverage, it is still a dangerous situation out here. The rain and the hail finally just let up a bit, but there's power lines down all over us. Nobody knows yet if those are still active. So really, it's like we've been stressing, your best bet right now is to just stay where you're at, let all of this die down, let these first responders finish their initial survey before you go out and try to jam up more of this traffic. We'll keep you covered. I'm reporting live. Eli Higgins, KAKE News on your side.
All right, so let's go back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler HD. I'm going to track back over to the reflectivity mode of the radar. Let's kind of get everything reset. I'm going to reset the scene for you. And as we zoom in here, fortunately, the tornado threat, other than a leading edge spin up, is really on the downhill side. Down here especially, I'm not really concerned. We're going to continue watching basically from Beaumont through Eureka, this edge of KAKEland. Everything back behind that, sure, this is going to be heavy rain and some gusty winds, but not damaging winds at this point. Let's go back over the past 30 minutes. I'm going to kind of reposition the radar for you here. And notice this line of thunderstorms is building back to the southwest. So Clearwater, it looks like it's going to get past you, and then the thunderstorms may develop back down to Wellington as the line moves, potentially Caldwell. Our Kansas City, you're probably going to see this line of thunderstorms develop on top of you. Same thing with Winfield, as this will move across eastern parts of Sumner County and move across KAKE County. But since that leading outflow is far enough ahead of the developing thunderstorms, I'm not concerned about a tornado risk at this point. It would just be the potential for damaging wind gusts, some very heavy rain, and some smaller hail. The heaviest rain right now, northern parts of Greenwood County down through Butler County. So now let's go back over to Deb Ferris. Deb?
Yeah, Jay, we are live at the Andover Y here, just south of Kellogg and just east of Andover Road. You can see behind me here a lot of emergency vehicles. The Andover Y took a direct hit from that tornado a couple of hours ago. It's kind of hard to see from here, but we do have some incredible video of it up close. There are cars in the front parking or the front lobby of the YMCA. There were people working out inside the Y at the time. They tell me that they got the warning, they went down into the locker room to ride out the storm, and that's when the tornado hit. If we can roll that interview again, that would be great with the guy who was inside the Y.
It looked like the neighborhood right behind the Dillons here, and it kind of kept going up and down, like real small. And so we started putting everyone in the locker rooms, and then suddenly it just kind of exploded and went right over the Y. And when we were in the locker rooms, everything went dark and it dusty. Like we had no idea what happened. Then we came out, and the cars were thrown in the front of the Y. The back pool is trashed. Every window's blown out. It's crazy. Like I've never seen anything like. I've been here 24 years, and I've never seen a tornado before, and that was wild.
Do you work here?
I used to.
Oh, but you were working out.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me.
Wesley Schnauber.
So you're Wesley.
Schnauber.
Okay. So Wesley, anybody hurt that you know of?
Not that I know of. Everyone in the locker room seemed fine. Then the police showed up really quickly, but everyone's fine. The Y is flooding as we speak right now. You can hear it flooding right now. It's ruined. I don't know what they'll have. They'll probably have to scrape it and build a new one. But
How were you feeling when all this was happening?
it didn't feel real. Because I've seen tornado warnings all my life. You know, the cliche like Kansas don't care. But and then when it hit, it was so sudden you didn't really have a time to react. It was just kind of like dark and dusty. But once you came outside and saw the shock and awe of it, it kind of is overwhelming. I think it happened so fast, people didn't really react until afterwards, and they kind of had the time to process what had happened.
Yeah, I live up north of here, and I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it hit something.
Yeah, it went right by my folks' place up on Indianola, and just shoot north of them. I don't know if it's still going, but yeah.
Gosh, how scary. Honestly, I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay, and it's all material stuff. It can always be replaced, but no one got hurt, thankfully.
Okay,
But,
thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so as you heard there, he was inside the Y working out when it took a direct hit. Again, we're at the Andover Y, which is just south and east of Andover Road and Kellogg. Lots of damage here. You can see all the emergency vehicles. They're trying to get the area secured. There is debris everywhere here. Trees are down. There are boards in the road. I've seen parts of roofs laying in the street and in the grass around here. There are some apartments just west of here that took not really a direct hit, but from what I'm hearing, there is damage there. We have video of the tornado, and you could see the debris coming up out of from the ground whenever a tornado hits like that. You can see that. Now, I did talk to police, several different police officers here from the Andover Police Department. They tell me right now there are no reports of any injuries, so that is good news. There are obviously reports of damage from the tornado as it moved north of here and here in the Andover area. Andover, no power at this point, so it's very dark out here, and they're asking everyone to stay home. There have been a lot of people who've been out driving around trying to see the damage. They're asking for people to stay home at this point. Of course, we'll continue to cover this and tell you about the damage as we get more information. For now, we're live in Andover. Deb Ferris, KAKE News.
All right, thanks, Deb. Deb talked about all the power outages in the Andover area, and I just checked the outage map from Evergy, and the number is growing. It's now up to 5,600 homes and businesses in Butler County that are without power. We now have what may be the best view so far of just what happened to that Y when this tornado came through. We have this video that just came to us from a very well-known storm chaser, Reed Timmer, who was right there when this happened. Let's take a look at what we have from Reed, can we? All right, there is the twister forming right there. We can see. Okay, there we go. We can see on the ground, look at the dust that is being churned up on the ground, and wow, look at it. It's whacking that Y. It's a direct hit. Look at it rip that building apart. That is just amazing. And then he has some drone video, or is that's the drone video. I believe we also have another shot from Reed. There it is. A closer shot of it tearing right through the YMCA parking lot and hitting another building there. Yeah, let's get Jay in on this.
Rack that back up again, because I can tell you where we are. He's in the Dillon's parking lot. Those are the Cornerstone Apartments just around the roundabout on Cloud, and the Y is just to the east. So, wow, you talk about the tornado, it crossed. Remember, it was going towards the northeast, and then it made that hook, and at this point it's traveling pretty much north. So we've damaged the Y, but the big question mark we have not answered at this point is what damage exists on the north side of Kellogg? Because this thing went due north, east of Andover, probably east of the police department, east of City Hall, east of Andover Park, and then crossed the turnpike before it dissipated near K254 between Towanda and Benton. But, oh wow, that drone footage. Yeah, my goodness. But that's where you could tell where the Y is getting struck at that point. So there it is. It's approaching the Y. Can we drop the lower? There you go. Okay, now watch this. It's approaching the Y. The Y is the flat roof building there. And there, and look how small the vortex is. This is a thin tornado. It's not a wedge tornado. This is a cone tornado. So you can't relate size of circulation or width of circulation to wind speed or violence. So you're looking at a cone tornado do incredible damage. Now notice there's still a lot of, there's still the wall standing there, but wow. Talk about Reed being in the right place with this as this spun up with the drone video. And does ABC have a relationship with Reed? Is this why we're able to use this? It's cleared through ABC. So all right, man, this is it's a very impressive video, and we're just so thankful nobody has been injured in this incident here. But yeah, that's what we're seeing here. But still, the question mark we have, and we have not had answered yet, is what damage has occurred on the east side of Andover, north of Kellogg, between Kellogg and the turnpike, because that circulation was still very evident on radar, even as it got north of the Kansas down before it got to K254. Wow. So do we have any, I take it there's no nat sound with this. This is just the drone video. And what was now, were both of the videos we seen, were these both from Reed? Was one drone and one, so they were both his video. Okay. All right. Well, and again, if you have video to share with us, please, you can always tweet at us at KAKE News. We can get it that way. You can put it onto our Facebook page at KAKE, and we would appreciate that. But yeah, just an incredible video of the tornado as it formed in far eastern Sedgwick County. I'm going to have to go back and look at here we are. This is the parking lot of Dillon's. That's Cornerstone Apartments you're looking at just on the east side of the roundabout. So he's in the parking lot of the Dillon's right next to Andover Road, just south of Kellogg. You see the cone tornado there. And okay, obviously that's all. Okay, there we go. We get back now. Okay, try to get back on it. But yeah, that's where the Y is just east of what you see. So the apartments are between the Dillon's and the Y. And the Y is just on the other side of the road. I'm not sure if it's Yorktown that continues south of that intersection or not, but that eventually is going to stay very close to or just to the east of Yorktown Parkway. Now, along Yorktown Parkway is Andover Central Park, and to the east of that is Andover Middle School, Andover Central, and in Andover Park associated, that's where Andover Library is, the City Hall, the Police Department. So we don't know if any of those structures have been impacted by this storm at this time. But at this point, that tornado was pretty much moving due north to south, Frank. I mean, you watched the velocity data with me on that one. And later, now that tornado dissipated near K254, and then later on that tornado recycled. There was a different circulation with that, and that's what produced that very large hail in Butler County near El Dorado.
Yeah, and you have some photos of that large hail. This is one of those big hailstones. This was Prospect, so this is just east of El Dorado. Amber Payton sent us that one, so for reference. And I tell you what, we love photos like this. When you can send us a reference point, quarter size, that is severe. I mean, that right there is probably at least 2-inch hail that fell there. So Amber, unfortunately, that may do some damage. This one here came from Wichita, 47th and Seneca. That is also larger than quarter size. Thank you so much, Kimberly Brooks, for sending that photo in. And one more for you. This was on the south side of Wichita. Some gnarly hailstones there from Scott Beard, likely larger than quarter sized. So yes, it wasn't all just tornado damage tonight. It was also hail damage. There's going to be some folks contacting their insurance agents, and we've also heard reports of straight line wind damage. And I have a feeling as sunrise comes tomorrow, folks are going to be finding more tree limb damage and that sort of thing with that line kind of coming through here after dark.
All right, thank you very much, Frank. And Reed's video, that was very impressive. But let's kind of update you on the current scene. So here we are live with KAKE's First Alert Doppler HE. Let's kind of run down all the severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll start with the southern end now. Severe thunderstorm warning for southern Butler, for northern Cali, for extreme southeastern Cedric, and for extreme southeastern Sumner County. That is until 10:30. Then we have another severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Butler County and just a very small corner of eastern Sedgwick County until 10:30. Then a severe thunderstorm warning now for eastern Butler County and parts of Greenwood County until 11 o'clock Central Time. Notice there are no more tornado warnings in KAKEland. It is all severe thunderstorm warnings. And look how this has just erupted in the past 10 minutes. The line is completely connected along the cold front. We have thunderstorms all the way down into Oklahoma now, and along that leading edge, there is still the potential for wind gusts to exceed 60 miles per hour. So you got the line of storms here. That's the outflow. That's once you get past that, the winds immediately snap around to the northwest. You get those wind gusts potentially up to 60 miles per hour. Now, I'm still going to watch where the outflow intersects the storm line south of Beaumont here in the extreme southeastern edge of Butler County, which is getting into Elk County, just because anytime we have the outflow still kind of connected to where the convection's going up, that could potentially get some rotation here, and we will watch it. So let's go over and look at the storm relative motion map, and we're going to go into the velocity mode here. We're going to look at the southern edge of this, and then we're going to go from the south to the north. We'll put it in motion over the past 30 minutes for you. That's the winds coming out of the northwest, where you change from that red over to the yellow. That's where you have that potential wind gust exceeding 60 miles per hour. So that's just getting into Perth now. It's already south through Wellington. It's through Oxford, heading towards Winfield. So Winfield, you haven't had that shift to the wind out of the northwest yet. It is on the way. Then we'll continue to track that line back over to the east. There's that outflow from New Salem over to north of Burden. That's going to be winds gusting out of the northwest. Now, remember, we said the outflow was kind of connected back to the thunderstorm line here. There is some weak rotation. This is just the southeastern corner of Butler County. Within 5 minutes, that's going to be into western parts of Elk. So along K99 and Howard, we might see a little weak, brief spin up on that leading edge. May not last very long, but that could produce a smaller tornado in addition to some damaging wind gusts as that gets into parts of western Elk County. And then we'll continue to push the line back over, and as we look along that leading edge here, don't really see any tight circulations that's giving us cause for alarm at this point. Remember earlier near Lapland past Ivanpah, we did have a circulation that got swept up in that line of thunderstorms. And right now I'm not seeing anything that's rotational that has me concerned, just the potential all along that line for some wind gusts that could exceed 60 miles per hour. So, David, we got anything from you over there on the desk, or have can we go back to Deb, or Eli? What have we got available? All right, let's go back over to David Scott. David?
I just think it's interesting to note that while we haven't had any actual damage reports in Sedgwick County, there are a lot of people without power right now. Evergy is reporting about 7,500. Now, that is actually down from a little while ago. There had been 8,800 homes and businesses without power. So obviously the high wind is causing some kind of damage out there. And you know that there are more than just power lines that have been damaged here. They're probably going to be finding out about some kind of damage that's been left behind by these winds in Sedgwick County. So it definitely has not gotten away unscathed. Butler County, things are still in about the 5,600 homes and businesses that are without power there. And once again, the sheriff in Butler County is telling everyone to stay off the road, stay home, do not get in their way, because they have so much work to do right now to try to figure out what all has happened there. We have our crews up in that area who are trying to find other areas that were hit other than the Y, because it'd be amazing looking at that twister that we just watched a while ago, the way it cut through that area. It'd be incredible if the Y was the only thing that was hurt. I mean, it went right by that apartment complex. We're taking a look at that. And we're in touch with the emergency management there to try to figure out just what all has been impacted. All right, let's send it back to Deb, who is in Andover with the latest on what she is seeing and hearing there. Deb?
Hey, David. Yeah, we are still at the Andover YMCA. A lot of the emergency vehicles have left here, so you can't really see behind me. But if we could show that picture of the car in the front of the Andover Y, that tells the whole story. It'll be just a second is what I'm told. Anyway, what else I am told is that there are no injuries in Andover at this point, but there is a lot of damage. Roofs are off the homes. There are people who have been walking around trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do next because there's so much damage in this area. The apartments just west of the Andover Y were also hit. The Dillons, which is right next to that, was not hit, but there is no power here in Andover, so it is completely pitch black at this point. Again, police have told us at this point no injuries to report, and they want everyone to stay home if you can because there are so many people that are out driving around. Okay, I'm told that picture is up right now, so you can see that car in the front of the YMCA. We did talk to someone who was in the Y working out when that tornado hit. He said everyone took cover in the locker room, and then they heard what sounded like a big explosion and then lots of dust and debris. And luckily, no one was hurt. They got out, and everybody was fine, but that Y is destroyed, as you can see by that picture of that car. We are just talking to someone over here who has some really good video of the tornado. I'm going to see if he'll come over here. Hey, sir, do you mind coming over real quick? Okay. Yeah, he's talking to Cam right now. Hi.
Hey
so
there.
I understand you have some really good video of the tornado.
I have amazing video. I just don't have cell service right now, so
okay.
It's not coming through.
That's okay. Where were you when this hit?
My mother is Kim Harth. She works at KAKE TV.
Yes, she does.
I was in Crescent Lakes, we're eating dinner, and it hooked around our house. So it literally, like a question mark, went just around our house. And I have just incredible footage.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Show the camera if you can. Turn it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that is amazing. Let me. I'm trying to see.
It's hard to see because of the light.
Does it look okay? Closer to the camera. Yeah.
I'm stepping in front of the tree there.
Okay, we're going to turn the light off. There. That'll help you guys see it better. So just describe what was going through your mind when you saw that.
I have no words really at the moment. I have so much adrenaline going through me from this experience. It is so much taller in real life, and you could feel the tornado, and you could hear the debris being just, excuse my language there.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah. It was wild. I don't have words for it. I just don't have words for you right now. It's just, I need to calm down.
Yeah.
That's typically how your first tornado goes.
Yeah, it was wild.
Did any of the homes in Crescent Lakes get hit?
Not that I am aware of, none, but the farms just north of Crescent Lakes look like they took a hit there.
The farms?
I would assume so because you can see the debris really just coming up and lifting off there. Here's some other videos.
Yeah, that is
here.
insane video.
Did you get the video?
Tell me your name again, sir.
I'm Gage Harth.
Okay, Gage.
Oh, I do.
I'm going to turn this light. Okay. Can you turn the light back on, Cam?
I'm going to send this to KAKE.
Okay.
It went through.
It went through. So we're going to send that video in.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gage
Harth.
Gage Harth. Okay, Gage. So you're at home. You see the tornado. Instead of going to your basement, you and I both went outside and took video.
Well, at first we went to the basement. It was crazy. So we were in the basement, but I had this feeling like it was past us at that point because we were down there for a while. And so I come up shooting upstairs, and I go out to the deck, and it is 400 yards away. It is really close, and I can feel it. It was rumbling everything, and I just don't. I have goosebumps talking about it right now. It was just wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're okay, and it's crazy to see
Is
something
everyone
like
okay
that.
here? I mean.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Y took a direct hit, but no one was injured. People were working out, but they went into the basement. So a lot of people are just hearing about all this. So, Gage, thank you. I appreciate your time with this. It's so nice to meet you.
Yes,
and thank you for sharing that video with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have more. I'm going to send it to him right now.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Take care. Yeah.
You too. So that was Gage Harth. He lives in Crescent Lakes, which is just up here at Central and Andover Road. We'll get that video on air clearly for you in a minute, but he says it literally just wrapped around their neighborhood. But he said from the debris, you could tell it hit the farms that are just northwest of Andover. So I'm sure they're some damage up there as well. Right now, David, I'm going to send it back to you. We're going to see if we can get a little bit closer to the Y now that the emergency vehicles have cleared the area. So for now, Deb Ferris, KAKE News on your side.
All right, thanks, Deb. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot to be thankful for tonight. You know, with all the power that this thing had hitting that Y and throwing those cars all the way from the parking lot right into the lobby of that building there and basically destroying it. It's just incredible with all the things that were around there, the apartment complex, the Dillons, that more things haven't been, at least we haven't heard, that more things have been destroyed in that area. Again, the Butler County Sheriff is telling people to stay off the roads. Sedgwick County has issued an emergency disaster declaration. We can maybe show that to you right now and to show you what that's all about. Basically, it's just going to enact some state funding to try to take care of whatever has happened in Sedgwick County. And apparently there's some sort of damage in Sedgwick County because we have a lot of people who are without power. And this is a verbal declaration to activate the County Emergency Operations Center and the Local Emergency Operations Plan. The declaration will help to, as I said, use that state aid that the county is going to have to use to repair whatever damage has been caused in the county by this storm. Let's send it over to Jay, who has an interview. Jay.
All right, this is Eric Duncan. Eric used to chase for us quite a while back in the day. Glad to see you back, but I hate to see you under these circumstances. Where were you tonight?
Well, earlier tonight I was in Andover, Kansas, just coming across, I think it was 96, and got off on Kellogg when you see that tornado ripping through the town. And
we got your videos that loaded up now?
See, and that tornado honestly went from 0 to 100 quick. Right about there is when it got super intense. You see the power flashes, you see the debris going in the air. You got helical vortexes, as you call them, as you know. But in case anybody, the regular public, isn't aware of what those are, that's an indication of a highly intense vortex. Violent tornado.
I have not seen that since Oklahoma.
It's been
a while. Have you seen that in a while? And that was a, let's face it, that is a small circulation, but that is a violent circulation.
A very violent circulation.
And okay, once again, where were you when you shot this? Were you on Andover Road or were you on Kellogg?
Andover Road.
So you're on Andover Road. Are you close to the intersection with Kellogg at this point?
Not too far from there. Honestly, I was just trying to get up to it. I couldn't remember exactly where I was at the time.
So, okay, so right now, is the circulation, can you tell, is it north of Kellogg at this point, or is it still south of Kellogg at this point? Do you know?
It's north of Kellogg, coming up on 35.
So, okay, so it has not crossed the Kansas Turnpike at this point?
Correct, it has not crossed, and that shot right there you're looking at.
All right, so this is what we were talking about earlier. We were wondering how much damage was occurring north of Kellogg, between Kellogg and Andover Road, because the radar indications were still very intense. Now, do you know, did this get close to Andover Park, you know, the police station, the city hall there?
They took a pretty close glance. I don't know if they took a direct hit, as I was not able to really access that particular area after the tornado had moved through at that time, because there were down power lines, debris everywhere, and law enforcement was just trying to do their best to keep people out of there and keep the situation as safe and under control as possible.
So, okay, so are you look like are you southbound on Andover Road looking off to the east?
Right now, in that shot that you're looking at,
okay.
I believe I'm currently eastbound.
On what, 13th at this point? Are you still on? Because Andover Road's a north-south road. So, okay, oh, look at the damage path there. So you don't know what intersection you are at this point?
I don't, unfortunately. I haven't gone through it. I honestly...
Look at that denuded. Okay, and so, okay, so you're heading eastbound at that point. Could you have turned off Andover Road? I'm thinking maybe you've turned on to either 13th or Central. Do you have, because I'm trying to figure out where we are. You're south of the Turnpike, correct?
Correct.
All right, and I got to admit, I don't think you're on, you said you think you're heading eastbound, correct? And the tornado's heading north away from you?
I believe so.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what just based, okay. But I'm just trying to figure out the structures here, where you are at this point, because clearly you just drove through a damage path there.
Yeah.
And I know that it crossed. Now, are you north of Kellogg or south of Kellogg at this point?
South of Kellogg at that point.
Oh, so he's south of Kellogg. So that was probably where it crossed Kellogg before. Is this before it got to the YMCA, or? My goodness, this thing. Look how quickly this evolved into a well-developed cone tornado. Now you saw it basically at tornado genesis, right?
Absolutely, from birth to death.
Okay, and so you're moving at a pretty good clip of speed here, so I'm going to guess that you're, okay, I think you're on, are you on Andover Road at this point, or are you on Kellogg?
I am actually. I'm
Ooh,
trying to pull up.
Are we getting close to the end here, Eric? Or
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and come on back out to us. Let's re-rack that up again, because what I'm going to do next time you go through, let's try to get the bearings and the timing down. And while that's up and you voice that, I tell you what, I'm going to get on weather 1. I'm going to see if I can how far I can go back with the velocity data. We can piece it. So are you back at the genesis of that? So okay, let's take weather 2 full screen while we get the video reset. Frank, let's walk back through the timeline on that tornado. So here we are at 8:25. Okay, so you see the circulation there south. Okay, now that's where it crosses the turnpike. So we can go, how far back can we go? And there it is, moving through Andover. Keep on going back. That's where it's crossing the Y. Right there, I think that's where the Y is being hit, because you can see east cloud, the circulation's right on Kellogg. Boom. Right there, the circulation is crossing Andover Road. I'm going to zoom it a little tighter, Frank. I'm guessing that's around Harry, or just to the north of Harry or Pawnee. There's Pawnee. Go in just a little bit tighter, eventually it'll come up. So, okay, so yeah, scroll up to the north there. And there's where your circulation is, right at Harry. So it looks like at about Harry and Butler Road, which is Andover Road, named south of Kellogg at that point. That looks like where that circulation is. And so now you can kind of walk it forward in time, Frank, and it's going to make that jog to the northeast. Okay, so now
Street.
We're getting behind, it's back behind the Dillons, between Harry and back behind Dillons. And then with the next one, it's probably going to be heading over to, boom, there you go. Now it's over near the YMCA at Kellogg, and from there it's pretty much going to take off due north. And this is where I was current, if you pan up to a little bit, where I was thinking it was go back 1 volume scan, go back 2 volume scan, and come back 1 more, right there, pan up to the north. And this is where I was thinking that, see that circulation, and you got to remember, because of storm tilt, but if you tighten up just a little bit, right north of Central Avenue, you'll see it right, and that's where, yeah, right in there, that's where, I thought it was near Andover Central Middle, but that could be because it just parallaxed with the storm tilt that was actually farther to the east. So, okay, so you think you got your bearings straight? You want ready to rack it up again, Eric?
Yeah, go ahead and rack it up.
Okay, so let's re-rack the video and we'll start it from scratch. All right, so you intercept it, you're on Andover. Let's go ahead and roll the video with his mic hot. And so you were starting on Butler Road, heading northbound at this point, correct?
Yeah, so I got off on 96. Yeah, right there. It looks like I got off on 96, Highway 96. There, cruised over Monarchy, that's 35, and over Hope Community Church. Not far from Hope Community Church. That's not far from right there. That's not far from Hope Community Church.
Okay, so that's close. Okay, so at the beginning, that's near Hope Community Church when you picked it up. You recall what, oh, and there you got the power line flash.
That sign.
That's Kellogg heading east right there.
Okay.
Apartment sign too. So that is just after it passed
400.
the YMCA.
Yeah, 96.
So you're looking east there, right by the apartments.
So that's
now
over
it's
by
north
Andover,
of Kellogg.
yeah, Cornerstone Apartments, and then across the street is Andover.
To your right.
Yeah, and then that's, yeah, okay.
So this is when it is north of Kellogg right there.
And that's Andover Crossing Apartments is the next apartment complex by Atwoods, back behind Atwoods over there. So, okay.
Yeah, north of Kellogg, south of 35. So that's 35, that's Kellogg. And that's when it really started doing damage right here.
Okay. And so now it's north of Kellogg at this point, and we think it's probably to the east of Yorktown Parkway. Yorktown Parkway is where you've got Andover Park to the east of Andover Parkway, and you've got Andover Central Middle School just to the west of Andover Parkway at that intersection. And you said this was probably a close call for the police station, City Hall, which is located north of Andover Park.
Andover Central Park.
Yes.
That's correct. Butler Community College. It looks like, I don't know if Butco or Butler Community took a direct hit or not, but I think it went west of there or east of there. I believe it was east of Butler Community College. So
okay, so this would have taken it probably to the east of Meadowlark Road at that point, would be my guess. And look at this well-defined, very impressive cone tornado at this point. And this does correlate with probably some of the strongest velocity signatures we saw with this storm as it was developing. It's amazing how quickly this spun up. Eric, how did you know to make this the sell of the day? How were you on this one?
So, to tell you the truth, Jay, I was posted up in Park City the majority of the day, and I was just waiting on the dry line to, be the focal point for storms to develop. Honestly, I didn't know if it was going to happen. I was kind of starting to be like, okay, I think, the Wichita area's in the clear, and I was actually fixing to find a hotel. And then I was tracking a storm that went up to the Harvey County area near Butler and Whitewater. and I was watching the cell develop to the south on the southeast side, or actually east central side of Wichita. And I noticed they kind of started to split, and I looked back off to the southwest and noticed a well-defined mesocyclone. And that initial storm, which had a pretty good clip movement to it, started to slow and stall. And as you know, when you see a storm start to stall and turn right, turn to the east, that typically means it's about to produce a tornado. And as you know, and as you've informed the community in KAKEland over the past couple of days well in advance, today was the day that if there was going to be a tornado, it did have the potential to be strong. So at that point, I knew I had to dive southwest and get into the meso and try to get as close to this thing as I could.
And yeah, this one, I think you're on Kellogg, and you're heading eastbound on Kellogg, and that tornado is going away from you to the north. And at this point, it's probably getting close to, if not crossed, the Kansas Turnpike, and is heading towards K254 between Towanda and Benton. And we're not really seeing, because it's based near the ground, still well in contact with the ground, but it's not as big a cone. You could still see the debris cloud that's getting kicked up with that. Considering you were on the moist side of the dry line, I was really surprised how high the bases of the storms were today, getting this kind of motion. Was this what you expected in terms of a setup?
You know, honestly, I was kind of surprised as well. I was. It was kind of one of those days where I was concerned about mixing of the dry line, where you have that dry air, elevated above the surface, mixing into the low levels. And typically when you have that, you get even higher bases. But today was kind of one of those days where I know that we had some boundaries laying around. I know there was an outflow boundary from previous night's
you know what? I know just the fact we re-wrecked that, I know exactly where you are in Kellogg, approaching the intersection of Yorktown Parkway. So I know exactly where this is. Yes, the Y is just less than 1/4 mile east of where you are right now. So as this is crossing, like I said, past Yorktown Parkway. So it's already past the Andover crossing apartments at this point. And it's also very close to Andover Park. I'm really, I don't know if there's been any damage to any of the City of Andover's infrastructure. There's City Hall, Library, Police Station, all co-located on Andover Central Park. And boy, talk about a close call. There might have been some damage there. And this was very close to Andover Central Middle School and Andover Central High School, just east of those locations. So you rolled up on this just as it was basically spinning up, damaging the YMCA, and then here pretty shortly you're stopped. You're going to proceed eastbound, and very quickly we're going to go through the damage path as that crossed Kellogg. So you were right on this. So here you go. Here's where you're starting to jog eastbound again. You're starting to get into the debris. Any damage to your vehicle with this, or did you stay out of the debris?
You know, the camera doesn't do it justice, I'll be honest. At that range, I was probably 250 yards from it, and with situations like that, you got to be careful with debris ripping around and going, left to right. Honestly, it's not a concern of it falling out of the sky because there's so much violent motion.
Now we're getting into the debris path.
Yeah, if you want to pause that,
you want to pause that right there,
so they can see that.
I don't know if we're able to, but yeah, there you can see where the trees are denuded at this point. You still got some standing, but right now you're crossing through the path.
Correct.
And that's far enough east of Yorktown Parkway where I can see where it probably missed the bulk of Andover Central Park at that point. I forget what kind of structures are located there, but yeah, right now you're kind of between Andover and the Augusta Municipal Airport along Kellogg. We're not hearing the audio with this. What kind of inflow was coming into the storm? Or the winds?
You don't have any audio on that.
Well, I'm not.
That was, Jay, I've been chasing for 16 years. I've seen Greensburg. I've seen all kinds of tornadoes in KAKEland and across, the lower 48 as a whole. But that tornado was by far one of the loudest tornadoes I've ever heard. It had that waterfall sound to it, per typical tornado, but it also unfortunately had that jet engine sound.
Okay.
And if anybody's been close to tornado,
and that audio is on this?
Oh, yeah.
Is your audio PG? Can I use your audio?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's re-rack it. Let's re-rack it from the beginning again, and let's let the audio ride this time. We had the audio down, so we're going to go ahead and we start at the beginning again, and we get audio. Let's add it.
My God. My goodness.
Yeah, you can tell that's the YMCA right there, and that horizontal vortex. I have not seen one of those in years. That's indicative of very strong inflow into a strong to violent tornado. Again, width does not equal wind speed.
You are correct.
We're now north of Kellogg, and okay, now I can hear the microphone shuddering because of the inflow into the storm. You're witnessing as Eric Duncan shot this. We're not seeing much, so you can take in the entirety of the ambient audio going on with this storm. And it is still churning. Look at the debris cloud. This thing is still kicking up as it moves northward. Right now it's between Kellogg and the Kansas Turnpike.
Jay, that tornado still had debris wrapping around the vortex itself, probably 5 miles north of where it is right now where you're seeing it. It still had debris circling around.
And you can still hear the wind flow overcoming the microphone.
Yeah, it was violent.
And at this point, you're quite some distance from the storm. I'm going to say it's probably at least a mile away from you right now, right?
At that point, let me just get a shot back. Yeah, you're looking at about 1 mile.
And then we start getting into the damage path.
Oh no!
At this point, I know just everything denuded here, and
what you're looking at right now was when the tornado was clearly at its peak intensity when it crossed Kellogg, right there, and it was at its loudest and it was at its most intense.
I can't recall what type structures are there, but you can clearly see that we've had significant damage to structures. So when the Weather Service gets out and surveys, we'll see what the rating is going to be on this storm, but clearly a strong to violent tornado.
No, I didn't see any houses back there.
Okay.
I just saw some substructures. It looked like some industrial, but it didn't look like there were any houses back there, fortunately.
Okay. I know with video you cannot assess an EF rating to a tornado. They'll go out and use damage indicators based on structural engineering and the structures that were struck and what damage was caused to those structures. I know a lot of times based on whether it's a rope tornado, a cone tornado, or a wedge tornado, people try to immediately assign values to it. We're not going to do that here, but just based on that damage path with the trees heavily denuded and snapped off, that indicates it's what happened to the Y. We know that this is definitely a strong tornado. We'll see what the rating winds up being on this. So once this kind of now, did you see it all the way until dissipation, or how long were you shooting this storm?
Yeah, so I tracked that tornado. Let me go ahead and pull up my timeline. Stand by just a second. I tracked that tornado all the way up until Meadow Creek Farms, which is located at the intersection of Southwest 40th and Tawanda.
Tawakoni, sorry. Okay, yeah.
Tawakoni. I was halfway there.
Okay.
Tawakoni Road, and at that point, it really started to rope out and dissipate.
Okay.
And you'll see that on the video.
Here's right where it's going over the YMCA at Andover, just to the east of Yorktown Parkway and Kellogg.
That is correct.
And
I'm sorry for the lack of stability on the shot.
Well, but that horizontal vortex.
Yeah, I had to chase solo today, and normally when you chase, you always want to have a partner, as you know. But he was unavailable today, so I had to run and gun by myself and navigate, watch the tornado, shoot video at the same time, and it's just not easy to do. So I hope the quality speaks for itself. Let the tornado speak for itself, not my shaky hand.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go back over to. Let's go back over to David Scott and Eric. Don't go anywhere. We may want to talk to you a little more about what you encountered today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
You got it.
All right, David.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, the governor has not wasted any time in calling for action in helping these communities. She has signed a declaration of emergency across the state to help these communities. Provided state help with any recovery efforts they are going to need. Also, we're being told that the Sedgwick County Emergency Operations Center has been activated to help Andover as well. All Wichita Police Command have been directed to assist with emergency management, and they are echoing what the Butler County Sheriff is saying tonight, and that is stay off the streets, stay home. There's so much work for these different emergency agencies to do tonight, that you're just getting in their way and keeping them from helping the people who need that help a lot right now. We have our John Hayes, who is east of Andover Road, and he, we believe, is in a neighborhood where a number of homes have been affected by this. John, what are you seeing and hearing from the people there?
David, it's pretty dark out here, but as you mentioned, a lot of people are going to need help. Now, as we've been out here in this neighborhood just east of Andover Road, South Andover Road, and south of Kellogg, we've seen lots of damage throughout this particular neighborhood. Now, it's pitch black out here. The power is out, but you should still be able to see some of that debris off in the distance, absolutely pinning cars. We've seen cars flipped over, tree limbs snapped off of branches, roofs ripped off of homes. Tons and tons of damage. Hopefully, we're hoping that no one was seriously hurt in all of this, but we've seen neighbors running through the neighborhoods, checking on each other, making sure that everything is okay, checking on their neighbors. We've also run into people that are combing through the pieces of what's left right now, and we do want to talk to one group. We talked to them a little bit earlier off camera, but they were actually inside of their home here behind me when everything went down, so I want to bring them in and kind of share their perspective.
We're getting ready to head to the Y, and got the warning on her phone actually, so we turned around, head back to the house. Saw some people pointing over to the storm, saw the tornado, went inside, got in the basement immediately. I mean, we were sitting down there for what, 10 minutes, and then it just started tearing our house apart while we were down there. The pressure in your ears was horrible.
So your ears were just ringing?
Yeah. It felt like you were, pretty deep underwater.
So how long have you guys been here in this home?
A year now?
About a year and a half,
yeah. We were renting it from some people, but it's
well,
it's
I can tell you
now.
our address was 723. Now I think it's more 720 to about 730-ish. But we're trying to, keep a at least somewhat good attitude about it. Thankfully, looks like most of our cats and stuff made it. Actually, we're finding a surprising amount of our stuff's okay, too.
Yeah.
We're just happy nobody in the neighborhood was seriously hurt. At least around here, we heard about what happened at the Y, and, our prayers go out to the families of those people. But we're just happy that right now, we're all okay and that as much people are safe as they are.
So what was going through your heads while you guys were bunkered down?
Well, honestly, we didn't think it was going to hit us because we ran upstairs real quick just to see. And then we saw that it was coming towards us, so we went back down, sat in our laundry room. It's all concrete walls. Sat with the door shut, and then after probably 2 minutes of being there, the door just flung open.
Now, which one of you, I talked to some of you a little bit earlier, but which one of you was actually keeping that door closed with your foot?
I was.
That was you. What was that like?
Well, she was behind me, and I think he was behind her. So I was pressed up against her with both my feet locked on the door, trying to hold it shut as much as I could.
And you're just using all of your weight to try and keep that door closed.
I mean, my feet were locked, or my legs were locked against the door just so it couldn't move. Otherwise, there would have been even more debris in there with us.
What did that pressure feel like against your body when you're trying to keep that door closed?
It wasn't as bad as you'd expect. I mean, there was a lot of wind, but after going through a little house, and most of it was just coming down the stairs, going to the door, it wasn't bad. The worst pressure was on the ears, seeing all the dust and the glass in this air, breathing it in, and I yelled at all of them to keep their eyes closed during all that, because all you could see was dust particles and glass.
And everyone did, right? They kept their eyes closed.
Yeah.
At any point, was anyone coughing? Did it feel like it was hard to catch your breath?
Yeah. Not really, as far as underwear. I mean,
at least for me it was.
It went by pretty quick. I mean, the whole thing lasted 15-20 seconds probably.
Very quick.
It felt like a lot longer, but in the end, yeah.
And I imagine it always feels longer when you're in that moment, kind of.
It was one of the scariest moments I've been in my life.
Oh,
yeah. We saw the clouds and stuff. Didn't think it was even going to rain today, and then I never expected to actually hit our house. It's a surreal moment, actually having something go over your house, tear it apart, and then you think about your friends, your family, your cats, animals,
everything.
Yeah, everything just is going through your head during those moments.
Because you think like that couldn't happen to me.
I mean, as soon as we got out of the basement, we all made sure we were okay. I went to my room to check for my cat. I think he went upstairs, checked for his cats. He went in his room, like making sure we got the cats, made sure the storm was away, and then tried to get to safety again.
And all of the cats are okay?
We're missing one, and one of them ran away, but we have 2 of them are safe out of the 4. I was actually at work when this went down. He called me, and let me tell you, he told me, dude, get home, the house has been hit. So I went from work and got here as fast as I can, but that was the most terrifying experience of my life because I didn't know if anybody was hurt, what was wrong.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just thankful everybody's all right. For the most part, everybody here's been fantastic. They helped me out. They got me down here when I came in. I mean, you know, if you got to look on the bright side of this kind of thing, it's brought this whole neighborhood together as people. And I've met more people today than I've met in a long time.
Met neighbors that we should have met a long time ago.
Absolutely. And it's been great to have that support and stuff. And I'm just thankful everybody's okay and that the damage isn't actually worse.
So obviously it's a lot darker now, guys. It's hard for our viewers to see what's going on right there. What did you guys initially notice was damaged or gone as soon as you stepped outside?
The roof
was gone.
Just ripped off.
Yeah.
It was weird because we're in this dark laundry room, and it's still bright
Step
out.
up if you can.
Yeah. It's still dark in this laundry room downstairs. All the lights are out. And after we're done checking ourselves, making sure we're okay, going from that dark basement and rising up just to see a bright, like, span of nothing and just rubble and broken things everywhere. It's very frightening. And it is truly a once-in-a-lifetime moment, thankfully.
God willing, a once-in-a-lifetime moment.
Most of the basement's okay, like the glass windows are gone, but the only thing we had an issue with was right above the laundry room up in the corner is actually part of the house panels got ripped off because that's where the garage was. So we could see outside immediately when it took it off, and that was scary.
And that was in a span of a couple of seconds?
Yeah, as soon as we heard, like, you know, the rest of the house being taken apart and then we saw that part fly, it was just crazy being able to see outside, see all the stuff in the tornado.
All of the debris.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was crazy.
What's going through your head in that moment?
That moment, just making sure everybody's okay, making sure the door stays shut, trying to keep it shut until it's over and we can all get up and make sure all of us are okay.
Now, obviously, you mentioned that all of you, for the most part, had your eyes closed during this experience, but were you still just kind of constantly checking in?
It was
on
hard
each
to
other,
keep your eyes
sure
closed, to not
okay?
see and not pay attention to make sure the roof was still there. Well, the
Obviously
floor.
it's not.
It's gone.
Well, the
gone.
roof above us in the
Oh,
basement,
yeah.
the floor was still there. To make sure nothing was going to fall on anybody. Yeah, mostly the basement's untouched. I mean,
It's just flooded.
yeah, it's currently flooded. But I mean, I've called, just about everybody I can, let them know that we're all okay.
The outreach has been incredible, absolutely.
Yeah, I've had my work bosses call me.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm okay.
Work's checking up on us, grandparents, people I haven't talked to in years calling us. It's been fantastic. It's been really nice to have people around for us.
Yeah, supportive.
That's awesome. Obviously, you weren't here initially when everything went down.
No.
Walk me through, guys, after you decided to finally come out and look at things. What was that moment like? Was that surreal for you?
Once we came out, we left the laundry room, turned right, and right there's the stairs to go upstairs. So, we see just the stairs covered in dust and dirt and debris. Mm-hmm. Get upstairs. I think our first thing was to get outside.
Yeah,
to see, obviously once it was safe, but we'd, get outside, see where the tornado's at, make sure it's that way, away from us, see, the neighbors, try and see if anybody's hurt badly.
Mm-hmm.
That, and then after that, we go back inside and make sure we have everything. Yeah. Not too long after he got here, we all had to sit in his car for half an hour, 45 minutes because it was hailing again. Mm-hmm. So that kind of put a halt to our progress of finding cats. And
It was a long 45 minutes.
It was.
With the half-inch hail hitting, and we need to get back in there to help, and it's just we can't hear anything. I'm just happy that my car's all right. Obviously some of these are okay, some of them aren't, but we had a dry place to go when some of the more bad weather hit. But and so when I was coming up, I'd never run so hard in my life because they made me park my car down there, and I saw, I think, him and James here sitting on the tailgate, and I just ran up and I gave him the biggest hug I ever gave anyone in my life. I was so happy to see him. But
well, we are really glad that you all are okay. And again, we are in Andover tonight in a neighborhood just east of South Andover Road and just south of Kellogg as well. Obviously, a lot of people tonight are picking up the pieces here, and we will keep you updated throughout the night. I'm reporting live from Andover. John Hayes, KAKE News on your side.
Hey, John, just one more minute. How many homes did you think that you saw that were damaged in that neighborhood there?
Yeah, David, so aside from this group of people that we just spoke with right now, we drove past another home that you should be, I'm going to walk with Easton here. Another home, you can see debris on top of this car right here. Roof of that home also ripped off. And just around the corner, it's really hard to see from where we're at, but there's at least another home that's damaged right here. A car completely flipped over on its side. We talked to a man off camera that lived right across the street. He said that his truck was blown across the street. Significant damage suffered to that truck as well. And we noticed a couple of homes on the corner as well, at least 2 homes that also sustained some damage as well. One of those neighbors did not want us to show his home, but he mentioned that everyone was okay inside. They're just obviously really emotional right now, David, trying to sort through what is left here.
All right, well, and once again, no injuries there. We haven't heard of any injuries, not, let alone deaths, God forbid, but not even injuries in this. Everybody looked to be very prepared and did what they needed to do to stay safe. Thanks, John Hayes, tonight reporting for us from east of South Andover Road and just a little bit south of 400. We do want to let you know that St. Vincent de Paul is reaching out and making a place for people to stay if they need such a place, like those people who we just talked to right there. That location is 123 North Andover Road. That's at St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church. And you're being told to please avoid that Andover area because there's just so much damage and emergency crews are needing to do their work. Let's go now back to Deb Ferris, who's at the Sunstone Apartments, which also had some damage. Deb, what are you seeing and hearing?
Here in this apartment building, and they watched this tornado actually hit. So I'm just going to have you guys describe what happened. Well, we were told to evacuate, so we were leaving, and when we were leaving the house and locking the door, it was really windy, and we noticed my husband's van, and as we closed the door to the van, it was actually right for the door over here, I watched my car that was right next to it.
Okay, obviously we're having some audio problems. We'll get those figured out. And we want to go to our Eli Higgins, who is also in the Andover area. And he has a report now on what he was seeing tonight.
We're about a quarter mile west of Andover Road on Harry Street. And we're getting our first look with one of the residents here, Ken. Ken, tell me first, take me back when it started. What was it like?
I heard the sirens go off and I started seeing stuff in the air circling north of the house, and I went in the house, and it wasn't 3 minutes and stuff was circling the house. It knocked over a safe, picked up a dishwasher, a lot of heavy stuff.
You said it was pretty loud too, right?
Really
Describe
loud.
the sounds.
Just a deafening roar like a train.
What was going through your mind right in that moment?
Holy crap. Not again, not Andover, but yeah, we missed the last one, but we got this one. Yeah.
So we're taking it. Show us some of the damage we have here so far. Kind of just describe to me what you're seeing, Brendan. If we can show some of this. This is a tree. Looks like was damaged pretty good, huh?
Yeah, big maple tree. It's gone.
What's the worst of the damage? I know it's dark. It's hard to see anything, but so far, what has surprised you the most?
Mainly the trees and that one big one over there, the one that's got pulled out. But it kind of shows it was between us because stuff over there was going that way and stuff over here was going that way. I don't know.
And you mentioned there's like a 40-foot tree over there, right? Just totally on its side.
Yeah, 40-year-old tree, a box elder tree, pulled up by the roots. It pulled the hood off of a couple of vehicles, folded back over the windows. Trunk lid on the Mazda, folded it over.
Did you have a basement or anything, proper shelter?
No.
That had to be scary too.
Yeah, I felt the house shake. So it was scary.
All right, well, we appreciate it, Ken. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Eli. And Eli was pretty much in the same area that John was just a little bit before that with all those people who had damage to their homes. Eli was in the area of Andover, about a little west of Andover Road and along Harry. We want to now send it back to Deb. We've figured out the audio problems. And Deb, what do you have for us? Okay, we're still working on those audio problems. Hopefully the third time will be the charm. Let's send it back to Jay. Jay.
Updated on what's going on in terms of the severe thunderstorm. We just have severe thunderstorm warnings. We haven't had tornado warnings in a while. So for parts of Greenwood County, this is eastern Greenwood County until 11 o'clock. Then we slide into southern Greenwood County, into Cowley and Elk and Greenwood counties. That's until 11:30. And then a severe thunderstorm warning for Cowley and Sumner County until 11:15. Wind gusts in excess of 60 is what we're looking at. The leading edge, we're just going to keep an eye on the leading edge to make sure we don't get any spin-ups. Remember, it was the independent cells out ahead of the line that we were most concerned about any kind of significant rotation. Now we're going to go over to the velocity. I'm going to work the line from the south down to the north. So we're going to put it in motion over the past 30 minutes. And there you see the potential for some, honestly, this is wind gusts probably 50 to 60, not really seeing 60 plus. Once you get into the orange, that's probably a little closer to 60. And so the Weather Service going to be extending some of those warnings out ahead of the line. But at this point, not seeing anything in terms of rotation that I'm going to be scared about. Near Moline, I'll see if that lasts more than a sweep or two. That may be a little weak area of circulation that's going to cross K99 between Howard and Moline and then head over towards Elk Falls. So as that continues Moline to Elk Falls, that's going to get over to the QSR Ranch. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And then as we continue sliding up that line here, it's just nothing but rain and wind as it moves through Greenwood County, already along and east of K99 from Tonaway over towards Neal and Quincy. I'm going to kind of reset the scene for you with this line of thunderstorms. And once this moves through, we're going to be done with it. This is the cold front itself. And once we get behind the cold front, the wind's out of the northwest, and we're going to be done with that severe weather threat.